Welcome to Game Crunch Game of the Year 2024 with Brandon.
I would have broken them if I would have remembered to write this one.
With Nick.
Yeah, it was a really weird time.
And Mike.
I think it's not realistic for them to compete.
There are many great games, but there can only be one. There can only be one Game of the Year. Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. And welcome to Game Crunch Game of the Year 2024.
Woo!
No. My name is Mike Anastasia. We got Brandon.
Hi.
And Nick.
Hello.
And we are here to talk about the top games of 2024.
Yep.
All right, listeners. Time for us to do our top 10 list. So, the way that this works, we'll each put up 4 games, and then we will rearrange them until we have a top 10 list. So that is the plan. Unlike normal Game of the Year categories, this one we always have said there has to be unanimous agreement for the list. So, yeah. So there we go.
Okay.
I don't remember if there's any other rules I need to throw out there, but those are the important ones, at least right now. So we will start with that. Nick, why don't you go first?
Okay. I would put Astrobot.
Okay, good choice. All right, Brandon.
I'm putting the Silent Hill 2 remake.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Totally shocked. I'll put Indiana Jones on there. All right. Nick?
I know we haven't talked about it, but I would put it on this list from Balatro.
Huh. Yeah, we really have not seen a lot of Balatro on our list, but it's not really the category.
Oh, don't worry.
Not really been.
Here it comes.
The lore, the story of Jim Balatro.
No, Jimbo. You got to get it right. It's Jimbo, my dude.
I
Guys,
probably would have given
James Balatro.
that story if we had it as an option, to be honest.
The actual story of the guy that made Balatro is pretty fucking wild.
All right, Brandon.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah.
Mullet Mad Jack.
2 words, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Let's see. I'll put Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Okay.
Nick?
Let's go with where the fuck? I just had it on my eyeballs and now I can't. Mario Party, Jamboree.
Brandon?
How many more do I have after this?
Let's see. 1. You have 2
What's
more
it?
total.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, well then I know this is going to be said by anyone else, so I'm just going to say Metaphor Refantasia.
I mean, we need games to round out the bottom of the list, so.
Let's see.
That's fair. So I have 2 more after that one, or was that one of my 2?
I would like to think that
Okay,
long
I'm-
pause was Brandon muting his mic and just screaming.
Nah. I understand that you
usually
don't
edit
like
out
the
the
game.
pauses. Maybe for that one, I'll edit in a longer one.
I understand that you don't like the game, and Mike hasn't played it yet. That's really all there is to it. I don't understand why you don't like it, other than just the really slow pacing. I really think you should keep trying to play it.
Although,
Like
you know what, Blow Brandon? I was thinking about this since last week too.
Yeah.
If there's any one great strike against Nick during this Game of the Year, I actually think it's the fact that he's never finished Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, and he gave up after 3 stars. And I randomly.
Wait, hold on, wait. I didn't give up on Paper Mario.
Are you still playing it?
Yeah.
When was the last time you turned it on?
When I drove down the MagFest, so 2 weeks ago?
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, and that's at least reasonable. When did you
Yeah.
start it though?
Oh, don't ask me that. Don't ask me that.
No, I just randomly had a YouTube video pop up this week, and they were talking. It was a list of the best or best Mario RPGs. I think is what it was. I just had it on in the background, and it made the top list. And they were talking about all the different things that happen in this game, and I'm like, I was watching, and I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, Nick barely has even scratched the surface of this game. Like this place.
Listen, Mike. Listen. Listen,
That's literally the thought going through my head when he was telling me how much
I
he
have-
disliked the prologue of
I have-
Metaphor.
I
Well,
can't
to be
play
fair, you
Mario
put that much
Party
time in Mario
because
Party.
I have 88 hours in Balatro.
You know what? That's fair.
That's where all my time has
You know
gone.
what, Nick? Carry on.
I'd
I
say,
only
though,
have.
people-
You know what? You beat me. I have 83 hours in Balatro.
Oh, Brett, that's just the. I wish I had tracking on my phone
Oh shit! I didn't even
I
think
wish.
about that.
because I know it's at least double.
Jesus fucking Christ! I probably would have double also if I had it on. my
Brandon,
phone.
when you to break the wall a little bit, Brandon sent me a message earlier this week that what stake did you just get done?
I don't know. That was actually a low tier stake, the one I showed you.
Yeah. So I finished all the way up to gold stake on the yellow deck, and I'm about to finish it on the red deck.
I can't do gold stake on the fucking the club, not what is it, spades and hearts deck. I'm trying
Yeah,
to do gold
ready.
stake on it, but I keep getting
Get ready,
wrecked on
buddy.
orange.
Get ready, because gold stake, you have rental jokers, orange stake, you have.
I'm not even surprised. Orange stake, you have jokers that die after 5 fucking turns. They're not even useful. And then if you pick them up, and they aren't coming back once they die, so you need to like not pick them up so that you can maybe get one that isn't.
It's chestnut
life-
checkers, baby. Is
It's so difficult. Anyway, sorry.
it my turn for a game?
Whose turn is it right now?
no, it's mine. I just typed mine in while you guys were talking. I put Lorelei the laser eyes in.
Very
as
good.
my
Okay.
next. Yes. All right, so we each get one more.
Okay.
So it's back to you, Nick.
I'll throw Tekken 8 on here.
Hell yeah! I knew if I didn't say anything, you would.
Okay,
That's
on
why I
there.
held off on saying it my last turn.
Yeah, I'll throw Tekken 8 on there. Tekken 8's
Hell
fucking good,
yeah.
man.
All right.
Puma's winning tournaments.
Dude, I was
Fucking
literally
great.
waiting for you to say Tekken 8 so I wouldn't have
So
to.
good.
I'm glad I held off. I almost said that instead of metaphor last round. Anyway, mouthwashing.
Okay.
What did I have for my last one in my mind? I will put just for the sake of keeping things new and fresh. I will put Amio the Smiling Man, the Famicom Detective Club game in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Surprised you didn't put Paper Mario in 1,000-Year Door.
That's why I prefaced it with in the sake of keeping games fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was contemplating one or the other. That's why. I like rewarding newer things if we can. Sometimes it's nice to reward remakes and remasters. There's definitely a place for it. Like I think it was last year when we did Super Mario RPG, and that was a great remake. And actually,
That was
Paper
very
Mario
good.
was too. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but different, like we talked about. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But anyways, yeah. So there's our 12 games. I think the only one we really have not touched on at all during the game of the year is mouthwashing. Like I actually think you need to tell us about this.
Okay, all right. This game is story based, but when you start the game, you're kind of having sort of like a Tarantino moment where you have the element of like seeing where the game ends at instead of where it's beginning, and then it's kind of told out of order. The story of this is that you have had a accident on your trip through space to deliver this cargo, and the accident consists of ramming straight into an asteroid that has breached the hull, and that all of you have very little time now left to live, and you're all going to die. While you're dealing with this, you're kind of having those moments where like your life is kind of flashing before your eyes, but it's done in an out of order segment where you learn about many different characters and see their struggles and what they've dealt with throughout their entire life and whatnot. The storytelling of this game is really what makes it just as good as it is. It is not really a horror game, but it's a very psychological game where you learn how different characters have had different struggles, like, you know, alcoholism and other such things, and they're coming to terms with it now at the end of their lifespan. And you're seeing people like given to vices like what they once had. Like, for instance, one of the guy who's an alcoholic who has like been sober for a certain amount of time, he decides at the very end of time when he's about to die, fuck it, I'm going to drink the mouthwash, which is a large percent of alcohol, and I'm no longer going to be sober, because at the end of my life, what does all this stuff that I've given up matter when at the end of the day, I could just go back to enjoying myself by being a raging alcoholic asshole, because what does anything matter at this point? What does my sobriety matter? What does my life matter? It doesn't matter. And a lot of the story that is told to you is through the eyes of Jimmy. Jimmy is a very unreliable narrator. So a lot of this story that is told to you as you're experiencing it is not actually the case of what the story is, and it's more of what the person Jimmy is thinking the story is. But as you come to find out as you're going through said story, Jimmy is a very bad person that would much rather everyone else be made to look bad than him for his horrible fucking crimes. And as you experience this while going through this like 4-hour story, the revelations that you make along the way as you're playing through the experience from Jimmy's point of view, or from what Jimmy is telling you, and then you finding out what actually happened, is really a big like, oh holy shit kind of like moment, where you see just how bad it can be and how good someone can make themselves look when you're seeing something from the point of view of a narrator who really wants you to believe their bullshit. And I think that element of the game, which obviously I am spoiling right now, is very important. And having that moment where you see that pretty much what you've been playing has been a lie, and it's being perpetuated by the person you're playing as they're trying to absolve themselves of all of their sins. That moment, that aha moment, as you see what actually happened, is what really makes this game's story so profound and so like very well written. And that's part of the reason why I picked it as one of the best games of the year, because I do think that when it comes to stories, this one's unmatched, and I should have actually put it in best story. I really fucked up by not remembering to put it in best story. But if I could go back, I probably would, and I would have picked it for best story anyway.
Category, you could have just added it in right then.
I wasn't sure if I could go back and do anything, so I just was like, "Ah, fuck, I fucked up." So yeah, but yeah, this game's story is very, very good. It has probably one of the worst communities that's come from a game that I've seen in a very long time.
It's bad.
It's really bad. But
can I real
do
quick,
think
Brandon?
It's so good. The game itself. Yeah,
real quick.
Yeah.
If you are cosplaying the character of Anya, if you are cosplaying her, for the love of God, it does not and should not be a horny cosplay. Do not do that shit. It is insane of the amount of people I've seen cosplaying her being like, let me judge this up a little bit.
Yes, but I also think the way that people have responded to those people is sickening. It's a two-way street. I do think that that it goes two ways there, but we don't need to talk about that. What we need to actually talk about is the game. I think the game is incredible. I don't know if you've seen the shit that I've seen, but I've seen like people doxxed for doing those cosplays you're talking about. I've seen people be attacked and have like their entire livelihoods attempted to be ruined because they decided to cosplay as that character the way that they wanted to do so, and they didn't. A lot of the time, these people haven't played the game. I'm going to be 100% honest. They haven't played the game, so they don't know what happened to that character and how that is very incorrect way to portray them. But at the same time, the community should not dox that person and attack them.
No.
Or
that's a whole other can of worms.
Or dox people that are drawing them that way, because at the end of the day, that is just a drawing, and that is just the way that someone is portraying said drawing of a character, and it's not okay to run an artist and possibly cause them to in themselves in Minecraft in real life, because that's something the community has done as well. Yeah. So that's not okay. But it does not matter. What matters is the storytelling of this game is excellent. I haven't really seen it done this well, where you play as a narrator that is lying to you the entire game, and have it hold its cards close to its chest long enough that you don't really see that coming. And because of that element of surprise and how well the story is told and how well you can go back on a second playthrough and see the little like issues with what the character you're playing as is saying compared to what is actually going on around you, I think it's very well written and very well handled, and that's the reason why I put it on this list.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't give away the big twist ending. Just there is one big twist ending. That's all you know. But
Very
the big
good.
twist ending's pretty fucked up. Very fucked up. I'll just leave it at that. So yeah. And you know how I feel about indie games also. I think when someone puts forth a lot of effort and they're not a big AAA studio and they're just doing their best with what they have, I think that is something that should be celebrated always.
For sure.
I agree. So we're thinking Metaphor at 12.
I would just say, is there any game on this list that's specifically either speaking to you guys for a spot, or any game that you can be like, no, this doesn't have to go on the list?
This is a tough year. A lot of times I look at these and I'm like, oh, this one's clearly a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Or for either top or bottom.
Yeah.
But I think that we generally have like a lot of solid stuff this year.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, I can look at this list and see a couple of games that I think definitely belong in the top 5 side of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe what we should do is we should look at stuff that should be. Why don't we sort things out that way? What do we think should be on the top 5?
Okay, yeah, Balatro.
Yeah.
I think Balatro.
I was gonna say
Hill 2 probably would be up there.
for sure.
Astrobot, I think probably should be up there.
Yes, those are my 3 that should be in the top 5.
So my hot take, I think Astrobot is solidly at 5.
That's fair.
Solidly at 5.
I think that's fair enough. Actually, yeah, I think that's fair.
I would
looking
honestly,
at everything we have a lot.
I would honestly put Astrobot, dare I say, even a little bit lower than some other game. Like, I would concede some things for yeah, for sure.
Can I say where I would put a few things real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think me and you are going to agree that Balatro should be 1. Nick, you and I are probably 100% on with that, but I think Silent Hill's in the top 5. I think Balatro's in the top 5. Mullet Mad Jack's in the bottom 5. I think it should be there. I think Mouthwashing should be there as well. I would say, if you let me keep Metaphor, you could just throw it on 10. But I think Metaphor deserves to be on this list for how good the writing is and how good the game itself is. I know you haven't experienced a lot of the actual gameplay yet, Nick, and I know it's very, very long. I know you're like 10 hours into this 120-hour game.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, you should also know, I refuse to play any Final Fantasy game with a job system, and also hated the paradigm system in Final Fantasy, was it Lightning Returns 13, I guess?
Oh, yeah.
So that should also give you an indication of why I do not like the combat in this game.
You're gonna really hate this game then. That's such a tough sell. I think the job system's so good in this,
Fuck
though.
that shit.
It's so good.
Shit. I threw on auto battle for one of the battles and like walked out of the room.
Damn, bro, that's tough.
Anyway,
I will say you're not going to get any muster for me to keep Metaphor on this list.
I know I'm not.
Everything that Nick's saying is just like, wow, those are all things that I hate about RPGs.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I don't want to get too back into it, but no, like when I put it on auto battle and I was like, let me just see how this game's supposed to be played, and I was like, what the fuck's going on?
I will say
here?
The game is very difficult if as you get further into it. It's like my buddy that was playing it, he almost got soft locked because of how difficult one of the later battles was.
I will also say my brain doesn't make sense because I'm like, man, I don't understand this game at all, and then I'll load up fucking procedurally generated solitaire and be like, so this is how I get $1 million in 2 seconds.
Much more fun.
Yeah.
That's why I said, as long as it can stay on here, you can just throw it at 10.
I can concede to that. Luckily, we didn't get a chance to talk about the music because you also would have hated my opinion of the music.
No fucking way do you hate Metaphor's music. No fucking way. That music is incredible.
You like the guy chanting at the beginning of every fucking battle?
Yes, that guy's
No.
amazing.
Maybe like the first time, but like to this day, I will listen to the BGM for Persona 5 because it's great.
Dude.
This, I'm like, I would play the game muted if I had,
Bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, definitely. And that's like usually the easiest redeeming
What
quality
the
of any RPG.
Fuck,
And it doesn't even have
dude.
that going for it.
There
Apparently,
is no fucking way.
If Metaphor has no haters, then I am dead.
This is one of the hottest takes that I did not expect to come from you.
That's fair.
Holy shit.
I think
that is
Brandon
fair.
might be more stressed about you not liking Metaphor than he was when I didn't like Balatro.
Oh no. I've just accepted that you have shit taste, Mike. Now, when it comes to Nick, I know he doesn't, so I don't understand what little part of his brain got rewired the incorrect way to hate Metaphor.
I told you I hate job systems, and when you give me an RPG that's a surprise, motherfucker, job systems, I'm like, well, guess I'm sitting this one out.
Same thing with me and Balatro, where I was like, I really don't like poker, and yeah, just I appreciate why people like the game, but it's like I said, just not for me. Okay. But yeah, so I put Metaphor down to 10, so that's good.
That says 10-2 because we're doing
It's the-
fucking
it's the
Final
se-
Fantasy
it's-
now.
I was gonna say, it's the sequel of 10. Main character is dead. You play as Hulkenberg. She's now the main character. Oh, and 2 days. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Fuck. There we go.
Oh, good.
No, hold on.
Not Jack from the Devil May Cry series.
Thank you. There we go.
Listeners, so currently Metaphor is listed as 10-2 over 365 ampersand, and the name's been changed to Metaphor ReFantagio, Dream Drop Distance, and Knuckles featuring Dante from Devil May Cry. Connect. Required.
All right. Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna go back to it. I want Tekken 8 on this list. It is the most fun I've had in a fighting game in a very, very
I'll
long
let you have
time.
Tekken 8. Where do you want
I
it?
also agree with that.
How about at 8?
Tekken 8 at 8?
Yeah.
I like it. I like the
Yeah,
7.
I like that. I will always argue that fighting games shouldn't get high placing on any Game of the Year list, only because it's crazy to me that in the year of our Lord 2025, we're still paying full price for fighting games.
Yeah, but then we've seen
But
what
it's very
happened,
good.
like when Arc System did like a not pay full price, and we release bits and pieces of it over time, and then you end up paying like $200 for it in the end, and the content you had at the beginning was so little it didn't even matter. So it's like I'd rather pay full price for a fighting game than whatever the fuck Arc Systems try to
I
nickel
will
and dime
say
me with.
that
Like,
was just the wrong way of doing it.
I agree.
Flip side, though, I mean, I will say, like, Smash Brothers is definitely, like, fully featured for full price.
It is. I think that is one of the few fighting games that's like you look at it and you're like, damn, this sure is fucking complete.
So my hot take with fighting games is they should operate like some I guess like League or something of that nature, whereas the
Ooh.
game should be free. There should be a rotating cast of free fighters that you can try out, and then if you would like to buy said character, you can buy said character.
That worked really well for multiverses.
But that was also, again, you can't be like, damn, the Poop Factory made a poop game. Like, it's not, you know what I mean?
I'm just fucking with you, but I don't like that that approach for some genres of games, because I feel that then the balancing issue comes into play. Because what if someone spends $10 on a character that's better than all the others that are in the rotation? That just makes it so it's less competitive, in my opinion. And I think everyone should be on equal footing when it comes to fighting games. Like, your skills are what carries you, not your credit card number.
I mean, that's fair. I understand. I don't know. I feel like people, like, I'll buy Tekken 8, and, like, I know I'm gonna play King. I don't need the rest of this fucking cast.
Well, I'd like to play the whole cast. I like to try out different characters. I like to have that option.
Yeah.
So I respectfully
Maybe
disagree.
how about this? Maybe you have both, right? You have Tekken 8, you can buy it full price, get everything, and then also maybe a free version.
They did that with the last Dead or Alive game, and
Huh.
I actually kind of liked that approach.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that approach, but if it was just that approach, I do think that really hinders a lot of the competitive scene.
I can understand that. All right, so we got Tekken 8 at 8.
Yeah.
Very good.
I mean, I just explained mouthwashing for the first time, but
Yeah.
I do think that its story does carry it enough that it should be in this list. It could be in the bottom 5, but like maybe 9 or something. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way, but I do think that it is a very good indie title, and I'm very biased towards indie titles.
It's not something I've experienced, but something that, like I said, I've heard a lot about, and it does seem very interesting. Like, it has a very interesting concept in the story and whatnot.
Mhm.
So I don't hate it being on this list for sure.
That's fair. I think Indiana Jones should be in the top 5 as
I agree.
well.
I
I
agree.
agree. But so if we're just kind of looking at stuff, if we keep Balatro at 5, and we have
It's
those
not
three
staying at 5.
5.
Astrobots for sure 5.
Astrobot 5, Balatro, at least 3. I really want it to be in the top 2. Honestly, I really want it to be number 1, but I know we're not going to convince Mike of that.
No,
No, we're not.
No, they're not. Like,
Yeah,
no way.
No.
Yeah.
What
no,
do we
I'll never-
think is 1 then?
One of those 3, probably either Astrobot, Silent Hill, or Indiana Jones.
Silent Hill 2. That's as simple as that.
As simple as that, baby.
Mhm.
I would give it to one of the other 2 above Silent Hill, personally.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like
You'll always have it's always a harder sell for me to put a remake or remaster on the top of that list. Like, it really has to earn it. And I think
This is like
we passed on, I think, Mario RPG last year for that reason, if I recall.
yeah.
I do feel like the back and forth for number 1 here will be between Indiana Jones and Silent Hill 2. And this is not my opinion. This is me looking into my crystal ball. With Silent Hill 2 being number 2 and Indiana Jones being number 1, only because, like what Mike said about remakes and remasters and all that. And I honestly, like,
I don't know enough about Indiana. I mean, I haven't played Indiana Jones yet. And
no, but it sounds very good.
It does sound very good, but I
It
don't
is
know.
excellent.
I don't know if it's number 1 good.
Because I will
Because
say,
I will say this: if it's between these 3 only, and I can't have Balatro, and Astrobot is on this list, I would probably pick Astrobot. Because Astrobot was the most fun I had playing a game last year when it comes down to it. And it was a joy to play Astrobot from start to finish.
Nick, for comparison's sake, I will say, I described Indiana Jones gameplay in some degree as like very Metroid Prime-esque.
Yeah,
you've sold me.
You are
yeah,
playing
and
as-
it's very like
Backtracky kind of.
So you go, well, it does have some things where you're going through and you get,
has a lot of verticality and stuff. I saw
there's
that.
a lot of verticality. You do get some items that allow you to progress, kind of through things, or keys. For example, you'll get a key and you can use that to explore areas that you were not able to before. It's in first person. It also actually has a mechanic where you're running around and taking pictures of things, which gives you more information for your journal that you complete as you do it. So very much like Metroid and how you scan things.
Okay.
So it's first person for most of the combat, or for most of the game, but it does go into third person for certain things too, like when you're doing some climbing and things like that as well. But it's described as kind of like an open world, like an adventure game. Like, it really does a good job at giving you a lot of avenues to kind of go through and explore, kind of at your leisure, with kind of objectives to go through, but without really holding your hand too. So I think it does a really good job on that thing.
Nick, I'm going to tell you this because I know what the genre is that it actually is, and it will ruin Astrobot or Silent Hill 2 winning, and you will instantly say, yeah, give it to Indiana Jones. But Nick, Indiana Jones is an immersive sim like Prey.
Fuck.
Yeah, I know.
And to say it's like Prey being, oh man.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
I know.
That hurts.
I know.
I'll also say too, I also kind of share the same sentiment that Mike does, whereas like it's a hard sell for me to put a remake or remaster at number one.
I had a hate boner for Silent Hill 2.
Oh yeah, I understand that.
Love the Silent Hill 2 remake. I thought this was going to be absolute dog shit, and I came out looking at this actually enjoying this more than the Resident Evil remakes we've gotten so far. I actually think this is better than the Resident Evil 2 and the Resident Evil 4 remake, which were already fucking phenomenal games. And I think the fact that we got a Konami game that doesn't suck dick, and not only that, but is absolutely fucking phenomenal, that's the reason why. That's how I would sell Silent Hill 2 to someone. I'd be like, did you think this game would fucking suck? I did too. This game's fucking amazing. It's so good. All the little details are there. Everything is perfect. They nailed it. And not only did they nail it, but they decided to add extra shit to it to make it even better than the original. If you look at it from a point of view of like, look at the original and its tank controls and this, that, and the other and whatnot, and you don't have that, but yet they still were able to bring that into the modern time where you feel that sense of dread because of the new combat system, because of the new way the world is built around you, because of all of this shit. They told the story. They told it excellently. They added little touches here and there to really add to it, to show all the things that I thought were going to be lost in translation. Not only were they not lost in translation, but they were heightened in translation to this remake. And I mean, that's the main reason why I have it in the top 3. But I would like it to be number 1. I know I'm not going to be able to sell Mike on it being number 1, but like, it's... because as you just said, like, remakes are really hard to like sell, but I really do think this is one of the best that I've played, like, in a very long time.
Hey, Nick,
when it comes down to it.
Hey,
counterpoint. Remember all the lies Brandon told you about Metaphor?
None of those are lies. Nick only played the prologue. None of those are lies. Nick has only played the prologue. Brother, essentially just read the fucking index and was like, I hate this! That's essentially what has happened with Nick and Metaphor.
Anyways,
I'm at a wine tasting and I gotta drink the whole bottle to experience it.
Okay, that was really funny.
Yeah, chug it down.
Listen,
I'll take one for the team. I am willing to throw Famicom Detective Club off of this list. I really enjoy it for the novelty, but I don't think it's as strong as a lot of the other stuff that we've talked about here. So I'm fine with that one slipping into the nether realms.
Let me think for a second, all right? Let me think for a second. This is okay, fine. Listen. I'll do Indiana Jones, Silent Hill, Astrobot, or drop Astrobot down to 4 and put Balatro at 3. But Indiana Jones could be number 1 if Balatro could be number 3 or 2.
Sharks.
With 3.
3 for Balatro, and then Astrobot below Balatro, and then Silent Hill at 2, and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle at 1.
I'll take your money if that's what you want.
What?
So I'll take your money if that's what you want.
I'm just trying to fill out this list and see how it looks in like written out. So let's try that and see how it looks in our thoughts. Okay. I do like this list. Looking at it now.
Yeah.
We still need to fill in. I still want mouthwashing at 9. Is that okay? Or
I mean, I have no objections.
Yeah, I mean that's fine for now. We can just fly up there. See where that is.
Oh, man. No one's played Mullet Magic, and it makes me really sad.
I think Echoes of Wisdom is fine at the bottom of the list. I think Jamboree should be ranked higher than it. Lorelei and Laser Eyes, I would rank higher than both of those.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know where I'd place Mullet Magic in comparison.
Mullet Magic is really fucking fun.
Because realistically, right now, the only open spots we have are 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah. Mullet Magic is a very me game.
Oh, don't discount yourself, because I do also enjoy the things that I've seen of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I do own it.
Play it! Shit, man! What the fuck?
I couldn't get past the settings screen, Brendan.
I'm not surprised. Bro looked at the menu and he was like, I don't like this.
It's not even installed on my computer.
Bro looked at the play button and he was like, eh.
I think
It's
I
just
bought
not-
it when you told me to buy it, and I was like,
God
nice.
Damn it, dude.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck?
No, it's cool. Definitely cool.
That was a game that I finished in a day because I liked it so much. I mean, granted, there are other games on this list that I finished in like 2 or 3 days that I liked so much, but they're not on this list. There's no way I was going to win either of you over with it, so I didn't even bother. I thought Metaphor was going to be easy.
Yeah, you thought.
Yeah,
Yeah, you thought.
yeah. And now I'm wishing I would have put any of my other ones on this list on here instead.
Is there any that's remaining that we would drop? Like,
What is it that you want to hear the most, Mike,
Mm,
of the
probably
remaining?
Lorelei. I'd rather
Really?
put that one
Okay.
on there.
Okay. Nick?
I mean, ooh, it's hard because I love Jamboree. I think Jamboree is probably the best Mario Party we've gotten. Yeah, definitely Jamboree.
Okay.
You're never gonna see me vote for Legend of Zelda, so that should have been.
I know. Yeah.
All right. Let me take a second here, all right? All right. I can't get either of you guys to not make fun of this game. I
Mullet
can't
Magic?
win. I cannot win. It's not happening. So, I'm going to have a concession
Bye.
because let me finish my fucking sentence. Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Ooh, that was good.
Let me finish my fucking
That was good to
sentence.
see
All
that
right,
in
finish your
real time.
sentence. Let's hear what you have to say.
Go ahead.
Nick doesn't like Metaphor because he's too stupid.
Yeah.
And Mike, you haven't played it. Because you're all in on Switch right now, and even though you have a Series X, I don't think you've probably booted that thing aside from Indiana Jones at all this year.
I mean, Indiana Jones only came out a month ago, so I don't know why it's like you're like, oh, but true, that was the only reason I had to boot it up in the last year.
Yeah. So, here's what I'm gonna do. We'll drop Metaphor, which is the wrong choice, but we'll drop it because I'm never
I
gonna
mean,
win with you two.
They should have made a better game, you know.
They did make a better game. You just have no attention span. Anyway, moving on. I would rather have Mullet Magic at 7. Yeah, you kind of already read my mind here. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I'm really vibing where I'm putting these things are right now.
He's firing at the hip.
He is, and I actually agree with him.
I've never seen somebody hit so many home runs at the same time so fast.
So, listeners, just so you can visualize where things look on the list right now, just tentatively, as we're talking about them. Indiana Jones is number 1, Silent Hill is number 2, Balatro is number 3, Astrobrot's number 4, Lorelei's number 5, Mario Party's number 6, Mullet Magic's number 7, Tekken 8 is number 8, Mouthwashing's number 9, and Echoes is number 10. I am I'm 100% behind where this list is.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, I can't say it's a shame because I don't want Legend of Zelda to be on here at all, but that also means putting Metaphor back on, which I also will not do.
I guarantee you, I'm gonna tell you this right now, Nick. I
If
guarantee
you got to
you.
11 hours, Nick, you would just
No.
not believe it.
No. I guarantee you, if you make it to the next like character that is introduced, which is in the next dungeon,
The bunny girl
No.
or the
No.
cat?
Bird Boy?
No, not the cat.
The bat
The bat.
guy who is an ninja.
Also, don't say I have no attention span. I have 100 hours in Death Stranding.
That's different. That's a
a good
I
That's
delivered packages for
that's a good
100 hours.
That's a Kojima game. That's a Kojima game. It wasn't turn based, and there was literally a job system in it. What the fuck?
Yeah, but I also was drinking monsters and pissing everywhere. You don't do that in Metaphor.
Actually, when you get to hour 50, I'm just kidding.
They start giving you fucking accelerators.
You mean you hadn't even get to fast travel yet? That's when the game gets really interesting.
Brandon,
Hmm?
I have the utmost respect for you in your opinion,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But right now, you sound like somebody who's like, no, bro, One Piece gets really good at episode 205. You just gotta trudge through.
One Piece doesn't get good until like episode 400.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think, okay, right? Yes, I'm still in the prologue. Sure, I will concede that to you, right?
Mhm.
But if the game has not grabbed me in that, this was the demo that they put out to sell this game to people.
I think the problem is just you're too stuck on the job system and the combat.
It's not even that.
So, okay, listen, all right?
Expect at
I-
least 10 hours in, you would at least have some hooks to keep you going. Like sometimes it's
I
just
did!
boring.
Like,
Sure.
the assassination of the fucking guy who tried to already assassinate someone else, who then got killed by the talking fucking floating island that has the head of the dead king that already got assassinated at the beginning of the game. That shit had me being like, what the fuck is happening next?
Brandon, let me ask
and
you
I thought
something.
that was cool.
Let me ask you, did you not see that coming?
Him being killed by the floating head in the sky?
I'll say him. I won't say the way it happened, but him being killed.
Oh yeah, he was 100% going to die, but I thought that he was going to get killed by the main villain, not the floating head in the sky, who then introduced more parts to the story where the people that are taking part in this can't be killed if they're of
Okay,
the
'cause I
top
was
three
gonna
that
say,
are on the granite slab. That was the interesting part to me, because it makes it so the rich get richer, which goes against the entire thing, because like the whole contest is kind of being manipulated by the people who are already in power. And I thought that whole element of the story really made the thing a whole lot more interesting, because I can't just go to the main bad guy and fucking fight him right away, and there's like an actual reason for it this time, which isn't what you normally get in these kind of games. Like, a lot of the times when you're like, who's the main villain? We don't know who the main villain is, but this one's like, oh no, this guy's the big bad asshole. You know who he is. He's right there. Why can't I just kill him? Let me give you an actual reason. And it's like, oh,
Okay,
wait,
so
okay.
I was gonna say, because my thing is when they're at the Honeybee Inn, and he's like, "This is my daughter. I love my daughter. She's
Oh, yeah,
so
no,
great. Isn't she so
I knew
great?"
that.
I'm like, "Oh,
I knew
this
that guy
dude's
was
getting
dying.
the fuck
Oh, yeah.
killed out of
Oh
him.
yeah, no, I knew that. I knew that. I
This
100%
guy's
knew that.
already dead."
Yes. Absolutely. I totally agree with you there. I do agree with that. It was very obvious and very kind of tropey fantasy, but I do think the way that it was gone about and what happened to cause him to die was much more interesting than your normal fantasy kind of show or normal fantasy kind of game. They actually explained a lot of it and made it make sense very quickly and gave you like a whole bunch of then questions like, how am I going to get close to this person? Which then get answered later on as you figure out more things, and things get kind of turned around, flipped upside down, and I whistled for a cab and it was already there, and it's, yeah, exactly. It's going to sit on my throne as Prince Bel-Air.
I will, if you want, Brandon, one day off of podcast, we can go into it more. It's just,
I'd love to.
It's
actually.
just, it has failed to capture me.
That's fine.
And I will tell you this.
You sound like Peter Griffin going, it insists upon itself.
I will say I am the only person in my friend group who does not seem to be enjoying it. So I will concede that maybe I'm missing something, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm playing the same game everybody else is.
Yeah. And you're the only one that isn't
experiencing
liking it.
Yeah, but then when I tell people I don't like FF13-3 in any game with a job
13,
system, they're like, "Oh, that makes
13-3.
sense."
I mean, yeah, I do think there's a very big difference. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a little bit of a rant here, but I'm
That's
just going to
fine.
say this. I think the job system in this game is very different from what you would see with the job system in those other games. I do think the elements that make this job system more interesting is how you actually have to, instead of the job system being something where you level up the job and do this, that, and the other to be able to make a better job and to go further along and have the more powerful version of that attack or whatever. I think being able to bring those attacks over from different jobs just from speccing into them and gaining a few levels and then putting them in a different job and bringing those attacks with you really adds a lot more to the battle system there. I also really like the elements of where instead of like, oh, you just meet an arbitrary level to have the job that you're working on become the more powerful version. Instead, you actually have to interact with the characters and form relationships and form like companionships with people and do their specific missions and find out what is ailing them, what their problems are, and how they're living in this world and what they're going through. And I like that element because it makes it feel more natural with you unlocking this kind of like you do in your Personas games instead. But whereas in those Persona games, you unlock like different personas that you can call upon, here you unlock different job classes that you can use, which is which I think makes more sense for a medieval, quote unquote, but not medieval fantasy game. And I really like that element of this game because I think the main thing that's really important about this is everything kind of makes sense when you sit down and you look at it, how it's handled. And I really, really like that. Like I didn't think I was going to like this game. I will 100% admit to you right now, this game is very, very slow burn. I do not disagree with you when you say that this game is slow. It grabbed my attention though. It didn't grab yours, and that's fine. I understand that. I just think that there is a lot here, and the problem is I have seen it and you have not. And that's the major issue. And whereas I thought like the first mission in Persona 5 with the perverted teacher was very boring as like a start to the game and very, very cliched in a way, I don't really feel that way with this one. But I was among the like very few that felt that way in Persona 5. So I understand where you're coming from, Nick, because we're kind of like flipping things. Whereas I didn't like the start of Persona 5, you don't like the start of Metaphor. I like the start of Metaphor, even though it is slow. And you liked all of Persona 5. So it's kind of like the same thing. It's just differing opinions. But I do think that what is here, if you go further, is enough that would make you be like, okay, I get it. When you do get to it. Because I do think after the first dungeon, the first prologue thing that you do, a lot more of the game starts falling into place, and a lot more of things really hook you very quickly.
Anyways,
yep.
I think we need to start moving.
Yeah, just
along.
wrap it up. Let's move it up. Move it along.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're keeping this list as it is.
Yep. That's fine.
Okay. I'll read through them one last time. All right. So our final top 10 list for 2024. Number 10, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Number 9, Mouthwashing. Number 8, Tekken 8. Number 7, Mullet Magic. Number 6, Mario Party Jamboree. Number 5, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Number 4, Astrobot. Number 3, Balatro. Number 2, Silent Hill 2, which also has a nice symmetry with the numbers.
It does.
And then number 1, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. There we are. Congratulations for a great year 2024.
Yeah.
All right. You guys ready to get into our personal lists?
Oh, hell yeah. This is the part I've been looking forward to for a while.
Okay. So prior to the episode, we, just like it's been our tradition, we made our predictions for each other's top 3 titles. So we'll score those as we go through. Just to read off everyone's predictions so they're locked in and you listeners at home can follow along. Brandon predicted that my top 3 would be Indiana Jones, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, and Famicom Detective Club, Emio the Smiling Man. And Brandon predicted that Nick's top 3 would be Balatro, Marvel Rivals, and Astrobot in that order. Let's see. Nick predicted that my top 3 would be Indiana Jones, Famicom Detective Club, and Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And Nick predicted that Brandon's top 3 would be Balatro, Silent Hill 2, and Astrobot. And then my prediction for Brandon, I had his top 3 as Silent Hill 2, Astrobot, and Metaphor. And then for Nick, I had Balatro, Astrobot, and Tekken 8. So that's our predictions. That's where we are. So we'll start from the bottom and we'll work our way up. So I'll go first on this one. I have no problem with that.
Sounds good.
So
just to double check real quick, are we doing a top 10? I don't remember.
Yeah, top 10.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. So we are starting with numero 10. So my number 10 on my list is Mario versus Donkey Kong. So Remaster of
I
that Game
forgot
Boy
that
Advance
released.
game. I know it was.
Whoa!
I probably
sure
would
was
have if I didn't keep lists of everything I played throughout the year.
That's fair.
And that one was like, well, this was maybe my like most tolerated but made the list game. So here it is. I mean, it's a fun. I like the Mario versus DK for the Switch, the remake that they did. It's more like traditional, like it's like Donkey Kong 94. So a lot of like platforming puzzle stuff. It's a lot of fun. I like the Game Boy one better, which is available, I believe, through NSO if you have that.
There you go.
By the Game Boy one, I mean the original like Game Boy, not the GBA version of this game that's being remade. But this game's very solid. It plays very well. It looks very nice. I think it was a bit overpriced if I remember. I don't know if that's changed, but it was a fun
Probably
game
like 40,
nonetheless.
$50, something like that.
I think it was more than that.
Oh,
I think it was like
yikes.
I think it was a
I
50.
think it's a 50.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, which I feel like is a bit high for a Game Boy Advance remake, but it's still fun. So mileage may vary, and then also too, a lot of games like this, for example, tend to go on sale on like Mario Day. So something to look forward to there because that's coming up in less than a month. So, but yeah, that's my number 10. I have not talked about it at all during this game of the year, so I think that probably shows you kind of where my thoughts are on it. So, all right,
Okay.
Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so my number 10, because I didn't play enough of it and I didn't buy the DLC, is Tekken 8. I really loved Tekken 8. I played a lot of hours of this game with some of my friends that don't play fighting games that got really into it. However, I felt that the business model got really out of hand really quickly. And also I felt that like it was kind of a little content lacking at the beginning. Especially with their single player mode, like the little arcade mode. It lasted like 3 hours, and it felt more like a tutorial. And then, as things were added over time, I fell more out of love with it than in love with it, and it didn't make me want to buy the DLC. But anytime I went back to it, I really enjoyed my time playing it. So that's kind of where I stand with Tekken 8 as someone that didn't buy all of the DLC, like looking in from the outside. So that's how I felt. But the game itself is incredibly solid. I just didn't come back as much as I thought I would. I think when I end up buying the DLC later on down the road, I will end up playing this a lot more. But it didn't grab me like I thought it would.
Nick?
My number 10 is a game that I didn't talk about at all. I played Thank Goodness You're Here.
Oh! I think you and me talked about this at some point.
Not on the game, not on Game of the
Not
Year.
on Game of the Year. No, not on
Yeah,
Game of the Year. But you told me to play it.
Yeah, so just a goofy little adventure game. The main reason I bought it honestly is because Matt Berry, he's an actor. He's in the show What We Do in the Shadows. If you guys have ever watched that,
I've heard of
yeah.
it. I've not watched it.
He plays a character in this game, and it's just like a funny, cartoony jaunt. Like it's a lot of like innuendo and just like goofy shit. Like I think I told you about the one thing where it's like the guy has his binoculars out and he's like, I'm looking for tits, but like there's like birds there.
Birds, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the one that's made by the Goose Game devs?
Let me see. Let me see. No, not. I think you should leave. Jesus Christ! Thank goodness you're here. Is it made by House? No, Coal Supper.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one.
They've made the Good Time Garden. Oh, they also I'm sorry, you're right. They did make
okay, so this is Goose Game. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's very short. Like I think I beat it in like maybe 2 hours.
Okay, yeah, it's one of those.
But it's I think it's one of those games that you're meant just to play over and over and over again, just to kind of get the full experience. So maybe something that you pick up on like a Steam sale or something, because I think full price the game is like $20.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like 24 actually.
Yeah. But I had a lot of fun with it.
No, it's only 20. I might check it out at some point.
Like I said, it was quick. So maybe add it to like your list, and then when it goes on sale, pick it up. But like I said, it was good. It's just I wish there was more. It left me wanting more. But so yeah, that was my number 10.
All right, number 9. Mine is Another Code Recollection or Recollection, however you decide to pronounce that last word. So It was the remake re-release of the DS and
Oh, that game. Okay, I got you.
yes, DS and Wii games. Here the DS game was called Trace Memory. So if you're familiar with that's what game we're talking about. It was called Another Code in other countries. So that's what it is. It is a what kind of game was it? Like a narrative storytelling, like point and click kind of adventure game with puzzle solving elements. I had a lot of fun with it. The first game is very basic.
Mm.
And it was very much basic on the DS. I actually feel like they kind of made it more palatable with this version of it.
Okay.
And then the Wii game I thought was really interesting because that was never released here, so that was all new for us, and I did really enjoy it. My guess is they're probably gearing up for some sort of sequel to the series because it seems like it's out of the blue from nowhere.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. If you like that type of game, definitely enjoyable. It's a 2-for-1 deal, so you get 2 games for a reasonable price, so that's kind of nice. And the stories are really strange, but enjoyable. So I would say
Okay.
recommend trying it out. I'm really hoping that this is a sign that maybe we'll get what's that game I always talk about that I like? Hotel Dusk. So
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Hotel
there
Dusk.
was a hint in the game that made it seem like Hotel Dusk was possibly on the table. So I'm hoping that was one of my favorites. So
Nice.
all right. Yeah. So that's my number 9. Brandon?
Okay. My number 9 is Mouthwashing. This is a narrative adventure game, kind of like a walking sim. It's a very good, like, psychological horror game. Very well done. Interesting characters. And a very good, like, take on the genre by having you experience it from the point of view of someone that is very untrustworthy. I like it a lot. It's very good. So, there you go.
Okay. Nick?
My number 9 is Mario Party Jamboree.
Hey, nice.
Hey.
Had a lot of fun with this one this year. I definitely liked it a lot more than was it Superstar?
Oh yeah.
Just because Superstar I feel like didn't have enough content. I feel like this one had just enough. It was just fresh enough to feel like it's a really good entry to the series. So if you haven't played this one yet, you should. But me and my friends keep going back to this one, and it's still fun. So
Yeah, it's easily one of the best of the series.
oh yeah, at least of recent memory too. Like so.
Oh yeah. I would say at least through. I would say definitely through the Wii games.
Yeah,
Probably through the GameCube games. And then, maybe some of the N64 ones you might have some basis to say are better, like 1 or 2. But yeah, no, I agree. But definitely it's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's back to me. Number 8. Mario and Luigi Brothership. So this game is way too fucking long.
I've
is it
heard
really?
that. I heard this game was like
You heard me say it a million times.
no, not just from you. I've been seeing a lot of other people play and be like, this game is like 20 hours too long.
Yes. Yep. Maybe even 30 hours too long.
Oh my god.
Like, it so overstays its welcome and fills. Like, this one definitely has like content creep. Like, it's like, oh man, we got to make sure that they don't run out of things to do. We gotta make sure there's tons of shit to do here. And so they add all this like stupid filler bullshit that just throws off the pacing. I would say in terms of the game art style looks fantastic. Like, this game looks like Mario and Luigi, like the series in 3D, and it looks great. Gameplay plays great, but it's too fucking long and it's got too much filler and it's got pacing issues. But overall, I mean, I did enjoy it. It has I think I mentioned it in the podcast too when I finished it. It has a really crazy ending, which I enjoyed. It was like pseudo horror, and I thought it was really cool. But don't know if it's worth playing the other 44 hours just to see that 1 hour of really exciting content. But if you like the Mario and Luigi like games, you probably will really enjoy this. If you like Mario RPGs, you probably will really enjoy this. Definitely not the best Mario RPG that came out this year, but if you're looking for something new to play, I would say it's worth it. So
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, Brandon, you're number 8.
My number 8 is Mullet Magic.
I debated on putting this one in your top 3. Hardcore debated on it.
I really, really, really like this game. I really like this game, but it's about a 4-hour one and done sort of deal, unless you are a speedrunner. And I attempted to speedrun it, and I was like, I'm not clicking with this. Like, it's not really clicking with me. I've never been one to really speedrun games anyway, so yeah. I tried doing it for an official event that they had going on at one point in time, and I couldn't do it. But I enjoyed my time when I played it like normally on like the harder modes, but when I attempted to do it with speedrunning, it was kind of hell. But it's designed that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a very, very good game, and your first trek through the game in those 4 hours is very, very enjoyable. It's like a sight to behold, the entire thing, because of the graphic quality. Like, I mean, the artistic direction is very nice and very interesting, and it's a very different kind of genre that is starting to come up now, which are these like they're almost like infinite runners, but they're as first person shooters. And I'm kind of liking the genre, and I know it's going to take off. This is the second one in the genre, not the one that started at first, and I've already seen 5 more announced of different games in this genre. So this is kind of like the patient zero that I think is going to catapult it into the mainstream of having this kind of genre take over, similar to like Slay the Spire was with the like card game RPG. And I really enjoyed what was here. It just there wasn't enough of it. There you go.
Okay. Nick?
My next one, number
Yeah,
7,
number
right? Right?
8.
Oh yeah. Pokemon TCG Pocket.
I've been playing the fuck out of this.
I have been playing the fuck out of this game.
Mhm.
I at least open it once a day and open my 2 card packs and get my dailies.
Yep.
I will say it, even though I've played it a lot, it is this low on my list only because I do feel like it's lacking in some sense.
Okay.
The trading feature just came out, and it's kind of goofy the way you have to trade. There's like consumables that you have to use to like actually initialize a trade, and you can only trade cards of equal rarity. They said though that there is an update coming out very soon that they're working with the community to figure out maybe a better way to do trading, because they don't want it to also they don't want it to be locked down like it is now, but also I'm sure you guys could foresee the free for all if it was just kind of let to do whatever you want, because
Maybe
you still see grown men running in the Costco beating up people for new card packs coming out.
You know what I think would be a good idea for that? I just had a suggestion. You know how like there's point values to every card whenever you want to trade in your points to get the card?
Yeah.
If you could trade in that amount of cards, like those point values through a different amount of cards, so like you trade like 4 cards that are like 150 for one of the like higher value cards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that. I think that would be a really good way to do it.
I feel like maybe lock it down so that you can only if you had a card that I wanted and maybe it was like of a higher rarity, I could only get it from you if I already own that card. If that makes sense.
I see.
If I'm like looking to get duplicates to build a deck or something. And I will say, as for a mobile game, it is probably one of the more generous that I've played.
Oh yeah, I've finished entire binders. I've finished
Yeah.
entire binders of 2 sets.
But I like it a lot.
It's very good.
Yeah. So I mean, it's free. So if you like Pokemon and you want to play a new mobile game, then
Yeah, why
go
not?
ahead and do that. This has been my bounce back and forth game between a different mobile game that I've been playing on my phone.
Oh yeah, and that one's number 1. I already know.
But yeah, check it out.
All right. Interestingly, my number 7 is also a mobile game. And it's kind of a late entry on my list. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete.
Oh yeah, that just came out
Oh.
like a month or so ago.
Yeah, it came out in early December. So pretty new. So this was the if you remember, Nintendo did kind of like a mini Animal Crossing game for the phone. And basically you had your own little campsite and the villagers would come and go and you can complete quests for them and do things like that. It was kind of like a mobile, like pay to play kind of game, but they released it. I guess they decided they want to end service, and instead of just stopping it, they're like, okay, we're going to make a complete version that's offline so you can carry over your progress, and then you don't have all the payment bullshit. And surprisingly, this game is so much better than the previous version. It's so nice without like the paying gimmicks. It works so nicely. It's one of those games where I just really enjoy picking it up for 10 minutes, just kind of fucking around with it and then closing it for the day. You still kind of get daily tasks to go through. All of the villagers are available in the game, all 400, whatever they are. They're all accessible, and you unlock them as you progress. It has like a level up system both for yourself and for the villagers, where you can level up and get new perks, and you can level up the villagers and get new perks from them. It's got like a happy home designer where you're going through and designing animals' rooms as part of like a showcase challenge. But then you also have your own campsite to decorate, and your own cabin to decorate, and your own camper to decorate. So there's plenty of things to do with that kind of things. And honestly, this is kind of fucked up, but this game has such nicer items than like the actual Animal Crossing game. Like the items
Really?
in this game are, yeah, like stupid nicer. Like they have so much nice shit in this game that you can build stuff that you couldn't even fathom comparatively to the Switch version. It's wild. They have like all these like Japanese sets where you can get like onsens and like pagodas and all this stuff. And like this month they're doing like these like what is it? The theme of the month is like so I don't know, something like classic chocolate or something. So it's kind of like a classic like antique theme, but also like chocolate. So like there's a lot of like chocolate covered like furniture. Like it looks like it's like candy. But then you also get things like really nice wooden clocks and things like that. So yeah, it's pretty crazy what they have available in this game, but I do really enjoy it. It did have an introductory price of $10,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's gone up to its full retail price now. But
Is it
honestly,
15 or what?
I think it's 20 if I recall.
Let's see.
Yeah, so a little bit pricey for a mobile game, but
Yeah.
on the flip side though, I definitely have gotten. I mean, I paid $10 for it. I've definitely gotten more than 10 hours or 20 hours of enjoyment out of it. So definitely the pay to play ratio is really good. So yeah, I would recommend it, especially if you're an Animal Crossing fan. Lots of fun stuff there. So all right, Brandon,
Hello.
you're number 7.
My number 7 is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I really, really enjoyed this game. Put about like 120, 140 hours into it, something like that. It's a very long JRPG. It's the second JRPG of the Yakuza series. My biggest issue with this game was, and what made it be lower on the list, is the fact that the story was just all over the place. The main story was kind of a mess. Like, it really didn't have any sense of direction. And I don't know if that's because of the open world aesthetic of the game, or if it's because there was just so much being shoved into it and you played as 2 different characters in 2 different parts of the world at the same time, going back and forth. Not sure which one it was, but the overall story is probably one of the weakest Yakuza stories that they've ever had. And that really is pretty upsetting. However, the actual gameplay elements were expanded on and given a lot of quality of life changes to the point where it was fantastic and it was really fun to play. So the actual gameplay of the JRPG kept me coming back for more so than the story, which is normally the exact opposite when it comes to Yakuza games. So yeah, I'm really hoping the next one that comes out next week on the 21st is better when it comes to like story aspects. But even if it isn't, I've seen some of the shit that they've already put into it gameplay wise, and that's still going to hold my attention. But Yakuza's mostly about story, so I was a little disappointed that the story was very lacking.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just yapping, sorry.
It's okay. You're fine. That's what this is for. All right, Nick.
Here for yaps. All right, my number 7. I talked about this a little bit already. I haven't played this game to completion. But for what I have played, I do really enjoy Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door.
Okay.
Really fun. I mean, this is my first actual Paper Mario that I've played, other than the shitty 3DS one. And yeah, that doesn't count. I like it. It's been enjoyable for what I've played so far. Not nothing too crazy. The writing is very good, as I've been promised. And yeah, just I'm having a lot of fun with it. Just haven't, like I said, haven't really finished it yet. I feel like it would be higher on this list on my own list if I had finished it, but just there's been other things that I've been sinking my teeth into. So
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely some really awesome moments in that game that you definitely have not gotten to yet.
yeah,
So keep at it. All right, back to me again.
Yep.
All right, my number 6 is Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Okay.
So, not much extra to say about it beyond what Nick said and what I had said about it when Nick was talking about it. But yeah, I think this is one of the best Mario Party games. Definitely the best one on the Switch, and probably the best one in Generations. So I highly recommend it. And it's just, I think they just did a really good job with this. Just it's got some nice polish. It looks really nice. The mini games were fun. I enjoyed the maps that I played, although fuck Goomba Island or whatever Nick was talking
that
about
one
the other
sucks
day.
shit, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, otherwise, just definitely a really enjoyable game. So I like the variety and all the options that they had. They're very happy with it. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it. So all right, Nick or Brandon, back to you.
All right. So my number 6 is Stellar Blade. I adore this game. It is
I forgot about
very
that game.
Yeah, it is very, very, very well made. I like Souls games, and this is a very Souls light kind of game. I really enjoyed all the boss fights, and in general, the entire game was a blast to play through. I ended up playing the entire things in like 3 days. It was basically a weekend where it was like I bought it the day it came out, and I played it, and then I went to bed, and then I woke up, and then I played it, and then I went to bed, and then I woke up, and then I played it, and then the credits rolled. It was really fucking fun from start to finish. It was very enjoyable, and I had a blast playing this one. I saw recently, as in yesterday, that at an earnings call, they said they expect the game to sell more this year on PC when it releases. And you could bet your fucking ass I'm double dipping and buying it again, because the game is a blast to play. It was caught up in a lot of bullshit culture wars stuff, that sort of deal. But if you didn't even pay attention to that and you just played it as an actual game, the actual combat as well as the like world and the gameplay aesthetics of it it was fantastic. It was so much fun to play. I really like the collectathon element where you like collect cans of soda because they're like old world relics, and it's really cool. I enjoyed this game a lot.
Okay, number 6.
My number 6 is kind of the same boat as Paper Mario was. Persona 3 Reload.
Oh yeah.
I did not play a whole lot of this year, but what I have played, I've really enjoyed.
Nick, can I come at you from the side of Mike like he did? Please continue playing this game. It gets so much better. This is my favorite Persona.
No, honestly, I was a little afraid, right? Because my first Persona was Persona 5, like a lot of people nowadays. I feel.
Oh yeah.
And I was afraid that I was going to have the issue where you're kind of tainted by the newer one. So then when you go back to the older ones, they don't feel as good and you might not want to play them.
Mm-hmm.
Did not feel that at all with this. I felt like this remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it, I think it did enough to change the game in a way that it freshened it up a bit and it doesn't feel aged. Now, that could just be the way it played on the PS2. I don't know. I never played on the PS2. But I've played a lot of re-releases like this that, is carried over from an older console, and you can kind of feel the dust, so to speak, on it. Whereas on this one, it does feel actually kind of fresh. And it feels more of like a modern game than it does a game that came out 20 years ago. So, like I said, what I have played of it so far, really enjoyed. And I actually, side note, Lotus Juice was at MagFest, and that was really cool. So, saw them live. And
I'm so happy for you. Lotus Juice is fucking awesome.
And that kind of now, when I came back from MagFest, I'm like, ooh, I should get back into that. So I think that'll be in the rotation again soon.
The only DLC that I bought from Metaphor was the Persona 3 DLC, so I could hear Lotus Juice whenever I enter a fight. So, yeah. Oh man, Lotus Juice is so good.
Yeah, that's my
All
number
right.
6.
I guess it's back to me then. So my number 5 Famicom Detective Club, Emmy the Smiling Man.
No, I
Yep.
thought for sure
Fuck
with the amount of
me.
times you talked about this was going to be in those top 3. No.
I mean, at least it was in the top 5. So you weren't
Yeah,
that
of
far
course.
away from it. But I
Maybe
don't
my
t-
color shouldn't be red. How are you going to mark the wrongs?
well, I'll remember. So at least on mine, we'll see what happens if it gets to Nick's.
Mhm.
But I think I can manage 6 games on my head while we're talking.
Mhm.
But anyways, though, what was I saying? So yeah, text adventure, very Phoenix Wright-esque, very dark story, especially for Nintendo. Deals with a lot of really sensitive issues like suicide, teenage issues, all sorts of things, murders,
My
dumb
favorite.
things that people do on the internet, kind of things. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Really dark story. I thought it was explained really well, and it was really exciting to seeing a new entry to this series 30 years later after the last one. So, I thought that was really awesome on its own. But I had a lot of fun with it. Definitely recommend it, especially if you enjoyed the other two. And if you haven't played the other two, try them out because they are fun and also cheaper. So gives you kind of a training wheels to try the new one. But I think, if I remember, I think Emio actually has a demo, so I think you can actually try it out and play it. So
Okay.
I know it did pre-release, so it should be something there to play. Yeah, but that's my number 5.
Damn it.
All right, Brandon.
My number 5 is Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So,
I almost took it in your top 3, and I was like, oh no.
So, Shadow of the Erdtree is a DLC that is as big as most normal games. It took me about 42 hours to complete it, which is a ridiculous amount of time for a DLC. And the way you enter this DLC is by going to a completely new world map and everything. It was just Elden Ring 2, but not pretty much. And there was so much content here, be it new bosses, new weapons, new ways to like fight, new like Ashes of War, all this stuff. There was just so much shit in this DLC that it felt like I was just playing another game. And I actually played through on PC because my original Elden Ring save was on PS5, and I really just didn't want to deal with that because the base PS5 version of Elden Ring is a little all over the place. So I decided to start a new save on PC, and I played through all of Elden Ring, the original. And then by the time I finished it, I went straight into the DLC. And I had an absolute blast because quite literally, it was everything I loved about Elden Ring cranked up to 11. And it was just so much fun. All the bosses were ridiculous, over the top. They were massive. They took up large scale rooms, and it was a really enjoyable adventure from start to finish playing through it. So yeah, the DLC got number 5 for me.
Awesome. All right, Nick.
Number 5 for me is Tekken 8.
Okay.
I think that knocks off.
That was me.
Yeah. So I mean, Brandon, you talked a bit, about this game earlier.
Yep.
I love it. I think it's one of the best modern fighting games.
Oh yeah.
Out right now.
Mhm.
From accessibility standpoint, from a quality standpoint.
I agree.
Like you said, it kind of gets in the weeds a little bit when it gets to like the DLCs and things of that nature. But I feel like, I mean, I haven't had those issues because I've had to buy the DLCs.
Exactly. I understand
because
it
of
coming from your point of view. And
Yeah.
I have my other friend that has been playing with all the DLC, and he's experienced it as it's released and everything. I've been like that guy staring through the window at my buddy who's using all the DLC characters. I'm like, oh, those look really cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
I totally get it. It's
Yeah.
like, I feel like a lot of modern fighting games don't really do a good job of handling it. Although I think
Yeah.
Street Fighter 4 was pretty decent because you could earn fight money and then use that fight money
Yep.
to buy characters.
I agree.
But regardless,
Like the battle pass system that they introduced, where they just kept
Yeah.
adding more to it, and then like the skins that you could buy, but there were so many different ones, and they
it's
would
weird.
rotate in and out. It was a big mess, and I was just like, yeah, I really enjoy this game, but there's a lot of stuff getting in the way of my enjoyment. You know what I mean?
For sure, and I
Yeah.
totally understand that. but just a really, really solid entry.
Oh, absolutely. This is.
I
I
didn't
think this is
think
better
we'd
than
get.
7 in a
I was
lot of
well,
ways.
I was gonna say I was scared. I thought we weren't gonna get a game that was better than 7 because 7, in my opinion, was really, really good.
I agree.
But no, 8 has proven to be a much better entry, and
Absolutely.
still is really, really hyped to watch. So, still
Oh no,
hoping.
watching it's so much fun, and like playing multiplayer with people is so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But really hoping still for Tifa, but I guess our Final Fantasy representation in this one is going to be Clive. But
Clive.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a hot dog?
what the fuck is a hot dog, dude? But yeah, no, Tekken 8's great. So if you haven't played it yet and you're into fighting games, you should.
Mhm.
Also, maybe wait until like a complete edition comes out because
I
usually
agree.
that's what happens with these things. So
Also, like you were saying, this is easily the most accessible I have seen a fighting game be, like, period. Like, I'm very surprised at the people that I've seen picking up Tekken 8 and then sticking with it. Like, my buddy, like I said, he is not a fighting game person. He
Yeah.
jumped back into fighting games on Street Fighter 6, and he found that one to be a little hit and miss, but he enjoyed his time with Street Fighter 6. But Tekken 8, he has not been able to put down. He keeps coming back to it over and over again.
yeah,
And he was the kind of person I had to, like, beg to play a fighting game with me. Now
And-
he's begging me to play.
and like I said, I mean, I know like Street Fighter 6 has the modern controls and the classic controls, whatever. But again, I just think Tekken 8 just for the design aspect of it, it's a more accessible game because it gives you the player more ways to control your character and more outs and more.
Yep.
You don't need to know every single character to play this game. You just need to know what you need to do when you're in a situation, and I feel like that makes things a whole lot easier for people who maybe haven't been playing fighting games for decades. So, but yeah, it's really good. So, I like it.
Okay. All right. Time for my number 4. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door.
Okay.
Right,
I still have a
spent out.
chance on my other guesses.
So the game is, I mean, Nick just talked about it. It's a remake. I think it's the best Paper Mario game. And definitely, I would say, I agree, it's definitely one of the best Mario RPGs that's out there. So it has a lot of variety in each of the chapters, and they can get pretty wild. You can get ones where you are, what is it? Like one's kind of like a detective mystery. You get another one where you're like in a fighting ring. All sorts of just kind of surprises as you progress through the story, and the writing is just so on point. And there's some things that will just make you laugh out loud. Like they don't write Mario humor like this anymore. Like it is just a fun, funny, witty game, and it plays really well. It looks really nice. The paper aesthetic looks fantastic in HD, so I think it looks really nice, and it holds up really well time wise. I don't really think they had to make any major changes. And they did do some nice like quality of life things like upgrading the music and things like that. I think the music's exquisite in this game. So very happy with that. If you've never played it before, highly recommended. And yeah, that's my number 4. Brandon.
My number 4 is Metaphor ReFantazio. I
Oh,
adore this game. I've already talked to length about this one. I think this is the best Atlas game since Persona 3, easily. And I really, really enjoy the world and the characters and the general story that feels like, you know, I'm globetrotting, going from country and you know, culture to culture, experiencing different people's cultures and seeing what they are actually like as opposed to what the people in power are telling me they're like. And I really have enjoyed my time, like the entire time I've been playing this. It's very, very good, very well written, and honestly, a great story overall. I know Nick has some problems because it starts off incredibly slow, and I understand. That's fine. I get it. It's not for everyone, with its pace being not as good as several other games. But I do think that once the story grips you, it really drags you in, and I think it's one of the best stories Atlas has told in a very, very long time. So, yeah, there you go. Metaphor ReFantazio. Fantastic game.
okay. Nick.
My number 4 is Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Dude, I didn't get to play this. I forgot it came out.
I am putting this in number 4, not even for the Sonic Generations portion of the game, which is very good. I mean, if you played Sonic Generations when it first came out, it's more of it's just that, just prettier than it was.
Yeah.
With some adjustments that made some nerds mad because they didn't get to see Rouge's boobs as much. But
that's her whole character, though.
I mean, yeah, but also
that's like nerfing everyone in Devil May Cry and Dead or Alive.
We got bigger problems. I don't.
The Sonic fan base. Actually, you know what?
The new Shadow specific content for this game is really, really fun. It feels a lot more solid than the actual Generations gameplay. And they also added stuff from the movie in as well. Like there's a Shadow movie skin, and there's just a lot of things that they kind of remastered stuff from the Shadow the Hedgehog game, which I know is a rough trot for most people. I was a trooper and played a shit ton of it when it first came out.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The Shadow the Hedgehog skin from the movie, is it voiced by Keanu Reeves?
I believe so. That's trying to remember.
Fucking awesome. If so.
Shadow Generations Keanu. Let's see. Yes, it is.
That's fucking awesome. That's worth the price of admission right there.
But yeah, it's been a great year for me because this game came out and then the movie came out and the movie fucking rips.
Yes, it does.
So I like I said, I specifically put this high on my list because of the new stuff that's in it, and I love Shadow the Hedgehog. So
I do have one more question.
Yeah.
How are you talking on our podcast and also listening to Pimp a Butterfly?
Am I?
That's what it says in your activity. It says listening to Pimp a Butterfly.
That's weird because I'm not even. So I just opened up my spot because I'm not listening to any music right now.
Oh, okay.
And I opened up my Spotify and Paramore Riot album is what's up right now.
In top right hand corner, it says Kendrick Lamar 7 tracks. It has activity. I don't know. It's fucking weird. That's what I saw.
That's weird because I'm like I said, I'm not even listening to that right now. Anyway.
So
yeah, play Sonic Shadow.
All right. So we are on number 3 now. My number 3 is Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Whoa! Nick nailed it.
Yeah, Nick
on
nailed
the
it.
head, baby.
Yeah. So I did really enjoy this game. I thought it was a kind of a, even though it's very different, it also was I thought a return to form of more classic Zelda style games. I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I thought it was very clever. This game ended up being kind of a surprise for me because A, we weren't really expecting any major Zelda stuff this year, but B, it was just kind of very different from what you expect from the series. So I was very happy with it. I love this art style. So yeah, hopefully they keep doing creative stuff like this. So all right, Brandon.
I hit my desk. Hold on a second.
I was like,
I thought he was just really angry about.
I was angry that you liked Echoes of Wisdom so much. No, I hit my knee into my desk. That hurt. Hold on. I'm not
desk to the knee.
So, okay. Anyway, yeah, my number 3 is Astrobot. What did I say?
2 for 2, baby.
Yeah. So Astrobot, this game, I think is legitimately the most fun thing that Sony has put out in 2 whole generations, out of the PS4 and the PS5. It's just pure fun. It's really enjoyable start to finish. This was another one much like Stellar Blade, where I played it, went to bed, woke up, played it, went to bed, woke up, played it, done. Roll credits. That sort of deal. Yeah, really, really enjoyable game. And it's just a joy to look at because it just feels so whimsical and fun the entire time you're playing. From the music to the actual art to just the gameplay itself. And I love Collectathon, so it's great. Great game.
All right.
Nice.
Nick?
My number 3. Let me see, did either of you get it?
Probably not.
My number 3 is Marvel Rivals.
Damn it! I was close.
You were
We'll
close.
put that on the list. You'll get points for it.
Yeah, you were close.
Ah, you know.
This was a late entry to my list because I think it only launched towards the end of the year, like November, December-ish.
Yeah, it was November, I think.
But holy shit, so good. If you are like me and yearn for the early days of Overwatch and what Overwatch used to be, but like also better.
We gotta get
because
together and play this game. at
we
some
should.
point. I really like this game too.
They just added Johnny Storm and the Thing to it.
Nice.
One of the better battle passes I've played on a modern game, only because not so much because of the content, but the price is cheap.
It's like $5, right?
It's like $5.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't complete the battle pass, it's not the end of the world. You can still work towards it.
Yep.
Which is great because there's been so many times where I bought Fortnite battle passes.
Yeah, and then you
and
just don't finish it.
I just don't finish it. You know, for whatever reason.
I do think this model is going to become an industry staple because
I hope it does.
of how well it's been doing. Also, like they had a thing yesterday where they essentially said, so for the seasons in ranked during the half season at the halfway point, we are going to drop everyone 4 levels and then continue on to like adjust ranks and whatnot. And then at the end of the season, everyone's rank will be reset, and you could be expect to be around like 8 levels behind what you were whenever you get ranked into the next season. And everyone was like, "This is stupid." And today they were like, "We listened to our community. We're not doing the half season thing." So the half season thing's gone. They're not doing that anymore. They announced that today already. So like this is a company that actually listens to the community, and they were like people that were like, I don't know how to feel about this because I play Blizzard games.
Well, it's fine
like,
because the Overwatch thing is happening tomorrow, where they're going to rebrand Overwatch 2 back to Overwatch 1, and they're going to stop the lie they've been telling us.
Oh my goodness!
But no, just super fun game, and like I said, it's something that I've been having a lot of fun with because they've put my favorite Marvel hero into it, Moon Knight. My only complaint,
the moon haunts you.
My only 2 complaints for this game, and they're minor. Well, one's minor. One is a me thing, while the other one it should be an everybody thing. No, I love Jeff.
Okay, all right.
I love Jeff. The voice acting, not the voice actors, but like the script, like the writing. I understand it's like comic book.
Yeah,
I get it. But sometimes it's just a little like, ooh, it's a little cringe. It's a little.
Yeah, but that's just comic books. Like it's
no,
being
you're right.
faithful to the
You're
actual
right. But like I think
you know,
I've never like I don't know if it's because I've never like read a comic book over and over and over again. Like I've queued in the Marvel games over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I could turn off the character to character chatter.
Oh, okay. Like the
just because it's just
Larkin,
it's getting
whatever, you know, from
it's getting
Rocket
old.
Raccoon. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I think the repetition is just a problem of playing online multiplayer games. Because like when I play CS, I hear repeated voice lines all the time, and it's like, okay, you know, we've like made them into memes essentially. So I don't really think it's so
that's
much
a me
the
thing
content as it is the fact that it's repetition.
Yeah,
so, like I get what you're saying.
The other complaint that I have is that skins are just way too fucking expensive.
Skins are really fucking expensive.
They're like $20, which is insane.
And granted, that is Fortnite prices, and you know I will definitely it's like $20 for like major skins in Fortnite. Like for instance, I believe Hatsune Miku was like 15, and then all of her stuff all together was like 35 or $40.
I was like the difference though. I feel like with some of the Fortnite stuff is you get more than just a skin.
You know what? That's fair because you do get a back bling. So I guess
you get back bling. You might get an axe. You know, whatever.
Yeah. You know what? You got a point there.
So like, you know, if it was like $20 for the skin and it's like you got the skin and like
you get like an emote or something or whatever,
emote or even like money. Like if it's just like it's like a bundle or whatever. I'm sorry. One more thing. They also need to fix how the currency is because it's very confusing.
The currency is confusing. I do not fully understand it.
There's like non-paid currency,
quite a
paid currency. You can convert the currency. Like, just have it's too much.
Yeah.
But other than that, I have a lot of fun with it. Me and my friends squad up with it all the time, and it's always fun when you have a full stack of people playing. And yeah, I throw moon rings at people and I moon them. So it's good. It's a good game, and that one's free too. A lot of the games I've loved this year are free, which is great for my pocket. But yeah, that's my number 3.
Okay. All right, my number 2, and I waffled on this one quite a bit. It was originally my number 1 on the list. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
I nailed it, motherfucker! Let's go!
Yeah, I truly enjoyed this game from top to bottom, and
Man, I need to play this
I do
one.
not
I just
think
don't
it
have
would
the
be-
money right now. I really want to play it though.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was incredibly clever. I
Help
thought
a
it
brother
was
out. Just give me a key or something.
really artsy. Yeah, I thought it was really fun. Interestingly, it kind of ended up being just like preferences for why I ended up setting it down to 2. It was very, very tough. But I would say that I did truly love this game from top to bottom. I highly recommend it for anyone that's kind of looking for a game that's like a puzzle exploration game. Some of the puzzles will make you feel, there's like times where I'd put down the game and be like, I'm so fucking smart. Like, just some of the stuff you come up with is just incredible. And some of the puzzles are just really that clever. So I had a blast with it. Highly recommend. I want to try out some of their other games because I know they make some other good games too. But yeah, that's my number 2.
Oh, these are the Sayonara Wild Hearts devs. Play
Yeah.
Sayonara Wild Hearts. That game is incredible.
No, I know you love that game. So
Nick, were you gonna say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Your Walk's also very good. All 3 of these. Well, I mean, I haven't played Lorelei yet, but I'm sure it is. Like I said, my birthday is next week. If anyone wants to give me a dedicated, I'm down. But no, anyway. Yeah. Am I next?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My number 2 is Silent Hill 2 remake.
oh geez.
Yes, I might have gotten Brandon on the nose.
Yeah, you might have. This might
Yeah,
be your
you
year.
might have, Nick. You might have. Anyway, I do not know what else I can say about Silent Hill remake other than just play this game. I was very down on this game. I expected it to be awful. I saw all the writing on the walls from like the previews we were shown and everything, and I have no idea how they crushed. Like, even if I were to be like, yeah, this game's gonna be all right, this would have crushed my expectations because this game has just so much to it. There's so many layers that add so much context to the original game, and it is just incredible every step of the way. I think this is one of easily the best horror remakes in a video game we have ever seen. Like, Resident Evil 4 remake was good, but this is fucking phenomenal. I love this game start to finish. I love it. It's so good. And if there's one game you play that I recommend, it's definitely Silent Hill 2 remake.
Okay. Nick?
My number 2. There's no drum roll. Maybe Mike put a drum roll in there. My number 2 is I almost said the wrong one. Jesus. Astrobot.
I got it backwards, damn it! Okay.
Astrobot is my number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Love this game to pieces. I could not put it down. I platinumed it. I haven't played any of the bonus content yet, which I need to get around to. I know they added some new bots post game. One of them being the one girl from Stellar Blade,
Nice.
Eve, right?
Eve's her name.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they added some other characters as well. Super solid platformer. Every time I play an Astrobot game, like I said, they get better and better.
Yeah.
I think my one complaint with this game, like I said, is that it's half celebration, half walking through a mausoleum. And
I feel like with their new, like, going back to having Japanese heads in PlayStation, I feel like it's going to be more of this was a sign of things to come. Because we've been seeing a lot of rumors, like a new Medieval game in the works and a new Ape Escape in the works. And, like, seeing those rumors makes me be like, yes, that is what I've wanted this whole time. Yeah. I don't need 4K fucking 8K graphics, that sort of shit. Just give me a 60 FPS Ape Escape. Just give me shit that's like weird
don't know.
PlayStation. That's what I
don't
want.
know if it's because I'm getting older. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's my tastes are changing. But I forget. I was talking to my one buddy about this the other day, which I did tell him to play Mullet Magic for you, Brandon, because he always asked me. He's like, "Oh, what should I play this year?" And I was like, "Well, play that because that game is wild." And I gave him some other recommendations as well. But I came to the realization that a lot of what I like to play now are like these either indie or like maybe like a $40-$50 game that's like not super long but has a lot of replayability and just a lot of fun.
All killer, no filler. I had an
For sure.
entire podcast episode this year where I talked with Mike about this, where I said like games that don't have those moments where you're like, oh shit, I don't want to play that moment again. But like instead you just think to yourself while you're playing, like, I've enjoyed every bit of this. And it's like a much shorter experience, like 7-10 hours, that sort of deal. Just so much better than, you know, this open world bullshit that we've been getting every step of the way over the last 2 generations.
You know, and I would even go back. Like, I would go back and play Astrobot again. I finished all the challenge levels. I finished everything in that game.
Get ready for the DLC to be announced tomorrow. More free DLC.
Oh yeah, from front to back, and the music's great. Actually, had like a really awesome. I don't know who they put in charge at Sega to make that final boss theme, but that was a killer.
You mean at Sony? You said Sega.
No, because Sega made the music for the final boss.
Wait, really? I did not know that. That's fucking awesome.
If you look at the credits, like I said, it was really cool to see like a lot of old franchises that we thought were like nobody would like. Not I don't want to say dead because they are still technically dead, but like nods to franchises we never thought we would see nowadays.
There was an entire Ape Escape level, and it was so good.
So I will say that my one favorite thing about this game, if I can spoil a little bit, which I don't know if you want to call it a spoiler, is that the final planet for each stage, for each like thing, was a recreation of a genre, or in my opinion, a console-defining game for each of Sony's generations.
Yep.
So we got like a Ape Escape game, we got a Loco Roco game.
Yep.
We got a Uncharted game.
Yep.
We got Horizon for PS4.
Yeah, let's just ignore that one.
We can't ignore that one, but not the game I would have picked for PS4, but hey, whatever, to each their own. But I thought that was just really, really cool, and other than being like, oh, you just collect these bots of representation, basically you're collecting pop figures of our games, let's actually recreate our hits in the game. And it made me want a new Loco Roco or like a Patapon or, you know, whatever. Like, I want that shit injected into my veins.
Yep, I agree.
And like a side note for that is I'm currently looking, because my partner keeps seeing PSPs, and they're like, hey, I really want a PSP. So I want to get them a PSP and modify it so that they can play all of the classic PSP games that like we all know and love, because there's so many bangers on there. But yeah, I loved Astrobot to pieces. Like I said, the only thing that kind of puts it at number 2 for me is that the devil and the angel on my shoulder being like, oh, it's so good, it's a celebration, and then on the other hand, it's like, this is just a funeral parlor of IPs.
Let's be real. Jimbo's the thing that put it at number 2 for you.
I'm not. First of all, who says that game's even on this list?
If only you could see me staring at my monitor right now, like, come on.
What if I throw like a curveball?
It would be actually insane.
My number 1 was Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Bro, that came out in 2025.
I played the open beta.
Well then okay, sure.
Yeah, my number 2.
All right. My number 1, Indiana Jones. I decided to put it as my number 1.
So I was playing this yesterday, right? And I was like, this does not feel like a Mike game. What is it? Just the IP that grabs you, or like what is it?
The IP does, but I do think it actually is very much a game that I like. It just I think you have to have the right setting and the kind of the right tools for it, I think.
So my question is, like, have you played Dishonored?
I own it.
Or Prey?
I've ever played it. I did not play Prey.
So both of those games are literally the Indiana Jones game. Like they literally play exactly like the Indiana Jones game. So that's why I was like, I didn't know that you liked immersive sims, which is what this game is. Like 100%. So awesome. Like, please tell me more about.
There's a lot going on there though too. So I do think it crosses over like a bunch of different genres through its play style. But yeah, no, I thought there was lots of nice,
That's what an
interesting
immersive sim
things there.
is.
Hmm?
That's what an immersive sim is. It's a game that crosses over multiple genres and immerses you in the simulation that is the game itself, and you are able to interact with a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. That's what an immersive sim is. It gives you the freedom to freely interact with the game how you see fit.
That's the dumbest. I know you didn't come up with it, but that's just like the dumbest summary title thing for anything ever.
Well,
Like I feel like most games would be
well, no,
as
because
that.
you have to be given the freedom to do things that you normally wouldn't. So, like, whereas, like, in games nowadays, right, you can, like, pick up an item and that sort of deal. But, like, if you have, like, 20 different ways to get from point A to point B,
Mhm.
and there's, like, a lot of different things, like, you could take the key from this person, or you could do this to this person, or you could get them to come over here this way, or you could da-da-da-da-da. That's what makes it an immersive sim, because of the fact that you have so many
Oh,
options.
just different ways to
Exactly.
You do it in some things in that game, I would say. I
Mhm.
do think that
I do think there's a lot of scripted elements. Like I said, I started playing it
pretty much
yesterday.
if it's story based,
Yep.
I don't think it gives you the same freedoms. Like if you're
Correct.
talking about like the main story,
Mhm.
but for like a lot of the side quest stuff, definitely.
That's
I would
done
say.
in like Prey and Dishonored also, if it's like main story elements, but like it's kind of like a playground area when you get out of like them giving you the main story and you're like trying to get to the next objective. And that's kind of what like Indiana Jones feels like as well.
Yeah, and I definitely think there's because you're probably just in like the Vatican area.
Yes.
That one I feel like is maybe more like
Mhm.
what you're describing
Okay.
of the three main areas that are available. Because I almost feel like the third one not as much.
Okay.
It's very different. But I mean, but what you're saying is right. Like, I mean, it definitely applies to a lot of it. But yeah, no, I think it's a lot of fun. I do really enjoy it. So I do own Dishonored. I don't know why I never played it.
I think you should
bought
give it a
when
try.
was, like,
I think you'd
brand
really
new.
enjoy it.
Yeah, probably. There's a reason why I bought it in the first place. I just never got around to playing it. So, but yeah, no, I loved Indiana Jones, and I think to answer your other question too, I don't know if this was like if it was a different IP. Like I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of anything crazy like Karen's Western Adventure or something. And it was like the same adventure, like same gameplay. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much. I really think the Indiana Jones is kind of part of the reason why I did like it so much. Especially because Troy Baker did such a fucking phenomenal job.
It's so good. He sounds so much like
I
him.
think part of it is that you give Machine Games the freedom to make a game about fucking up Nazis, and they just do a good job.
It's true. That's very true.
I
Machine
also like,
Games
too-
is incredible.
Like I did you guys see Harrison Ford's quote about this game? I think it was just this week it just came out.
No, I didn't.
think so.
No, I'm not gonna pull up the exact one, but I'll just kind of paraphrase it. But he's basically like, I don't know why people are flipping the fuck out about AI when clearly a human can just steal my soul. So
That's really good.
yeah, because he's like when you have people like this is better than anything that AI can do.
Yeah.
So, and I agree. Like he really nailed it out of the park. They have a great cast of characters from top to bottom. And not just Indiana Jones. They also have, I know you know his name. I can never remember. The guy who played the Candyman is kind of one of the main antagonists in the game.
Oh God, why can't I remember his name now? Now you've got me on spot.
I know, just because I did that. But like I said, I personally view this as the sixth movie. Like this is an equivalent or better than some of the Indiana Jones movies, and I will stand by that like very heartedly. But other things, it has like a lot of content. It was definitely quite a bit to go through in this game. Lots of really clever puzzles. Phenomenal.
Tony Todd, that's his name, I think.
Sounds about right.
I'm gonna look it up.
I did see a new trailer for the new Final Destination yesterday.
I think it might be good. I'm really hoping it is.
Look good so far. Anyways, anything else I have to say about Indiana Jones? No, it's excellent. I'm very excited about it. This game, I will say too, if it comes out in the Switch too, I will double dip on it. Like this is a game I've already committed to double dipping on, and I probably actually will like buy an actual copy for the Xbox as well. So yeah, no, just very happy with it. So yeah, definitely play it. If you got Game Pass, definitely check it out if you've been waiting for PlayStation. I think it's next month.
I think it's in like
or is it April?
the
It's springtime.
spring. Yeah, I think it's in the spring.
Yeah.
So definitely coming out soon. But yeah, I highly recommend. And don't. I would also say extra piece there too, and maybe even for you, Brandon, if you're thinking about it, not worth your time to bother with a secret ending. So
Okay.
do not waste your time.
Most of the
there's way more
time, I
investment.
just play a game to completion, but don't 100% it because I do not care. I just want to have my fun with the game and then move on. Like,
It's not really. So it's not like 100% in completion to get it. You do have to
oh, okay,
finish a substantial puzzle to do it.
okay,
And it's doable and it's reasonably doable, but the problem, like with the secret ending, is I'm not even joking, a 10-second cutscene at
yeah,
longest.
I gotcha. Is there
That-
like an achievement for it? I don't know, nor do I care, but I'm just saying, is there?
There is,
Okay.
but at least in its previous form,
Okay.
it was very glitchable and possible to miss.
Oh, wow.
So-
All right then.
Because you have to collect like a bunch of different pieces to this puzzle. I don't
Mhm.
remember what the number is. I think it's something like 50.
Okay.
Which sounds like a lot, but it's not that bad. But the problem is, if you go to solve this puzzle before you hit all 50 pieces, you are no longer able to get the achievement. You have to make sure you get all of the pieces before you start it. And the problem is, you physically find this puzzle before you can get the last piece. So
oh, wow. Okay.
you are going to come up to this puzzle and be like, oh, I know what these things are for. And you're
Hmm.
going to start looking to stick your things in there, and then you'll miss the achievement because you already attempted out. It's obviously something they can fix in the patch, but and there is supposed to be, speaking of, a very substantial patch to fix a lot of the bugs coming out. I think it's this month. So
Okay.
um,
I will say this about the game now that I've played a few hours of it. I think I played like 3 hours. I basically got to getting my camera.
Yeah.
So I played like 3 hours or something. This game is really fucking pretty and runs really, really well. Like incredibly well.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed by that. Like when it comes to console experiences, I normally don't have good console experiences, so to speak, but this one runs incredibly well and looks great while doing it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of the best looking games I think I've ever
Yeah,
played.
absolutely. And I also really like that you can't kill dogs. Instead, you just whip crack them, and then they're like, "Ow," and then they run away. It's
Yes.
cute. I like
Mhm.
that. So
Yeah, I think there's another animal in the game that you can do that with too. I
nice.
don't remember. Yeah, no, excellent.
Okay.
The only other thing, one last thing. I don't know if you're a credits person, but this game has the longest fucking credits I've ever had. Usually, I'll leave credits on in the background when I finish. the game.
Same. I normally do it
Um,
out of just respect, and like I
yeah.
do at movie theaters when I go to see a movie. I just sit there,
Yeah, same.
like kind of
This one
decompress,
runs-
but also out of respect for the people that worked on it.
Yeah, this one runs at least 30 minutes, if not longer.
Wow.
Jesus
Like this one was like I was letting it run. I'm like watching my phone. Then I'm like go to the bathroom. I come back down. It's still playing. I go to get something to eat. I come back. It's still playing. I'm like, when is this going to end? Yeah. So, but like I said, it's definitely a lot of work went into it. So, okay, I'm done for realsies.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Your
Brandon,
number one was Indiana Jones.
Mhm.
Nice. My number one is Balatro. Easy. All right.
Damn.
Easy.
Nick almost cleaned house.
Almost. So close.
Yeah.
Woo.
I think you might have gotten a high score, honestly.
I wasn't even here for most of the year, and I've still cleaned house. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what is there to say about Balatro? It is digital crack. It is incredible. It is one of my favorite games that I played all last year. It's just it's the perfect just chill and like, you know, fuck around kind of game. There's so much stuff you can do with it. It is serotonin. It's everything. It's so fucking good. It's one of those games that when you play it, you kind of get it. And when you're not playing it, you're just thinking about getting it, if that makes any sense.
No, I mean, it definitely does make sense.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, tell us the same game.
Yep.
My number one is also Balatro.
Let's fucking go!
This game continues to take a genre that I love and just completely turn it on its head.
Mhm.
I've had back-to-back roguelike game of the years for myself. Last year was Vampire Survivors. This year was this.
Nice.
There is just so much that I love about this game. When it comes down to discovery aspect of it, because I'm 200 hours into this game, and I'm still discovering new things. We didn't really talk about music this year. And I know it might sound a little silly, maybe to people who have played it. I don't know. I absolutely adore the soundtrack of this game, not only because of just it sounds really, really good, but I like how every different menu of this game is just a slight modification of the main theme. And it's just this same kind of track that just plays through the entire game on a loop. But like when you go into a different card menu, a Joker menu, what have you, it changes it just a little bit. It changes the beat up a little bit and has an audible signifier of like, hey, you're picking a card from the Arcana pack now. Oh, now you're picking a card from the Tarot card pack now. And I just think it's just a really creative way to differentiate what you're doing in the game. Mm-hmm. Like you, Brandon, I'm constantly thinking about different ways that I can approach this game. I'm constantly trying out different ways that I can build my deck. Sometimes I really surprise myself in the things that I discover. But I think the most impressive part about this game to me is that it was made by one dude as a joke. Mm-hmm. It blew up, and I think he should have his flowers because if you go into Steam right now...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's 101,000 reviews for this game. 98% of those are overwhelmingly positive.
Yep.
That's incredible to me. So I have this on Steam, I have it on Switch physical, and I have it on my phone. I honestly love it the best on my phone because I can just be somewhere, whip it out real quick, and just start playing it. Mm-hmm. Actually, this past Sunday, as you guys know, was Super Bowl. Go Birds. I was at the Super Bowl party, and I was like, damn, this football game boring as fuck. And I pulled my phone out, and I started playing Balatro for, like, the joke of it. Because, like, if you go on Twitter, like, the joke of Balatro is, like, people will be somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn, this concert's boring as hell. And they're just playing Balatro in the middle of a concert or something.
Yeah.
I've purchased, I have a physical Balatro card deck coming.
That's fucking awesome.
For my birthday, my friends got me a shirt of the double tag Joker, the cola bottle Joker.
Okay.
And it just says, it has enjoy in like the Coca-Cola font with the bottle under it. Yeah, I absolutely adore this game. It's $15 to buy it on Steam, well worth the full price of admission. And then if you also want to, you can buy the soundtrack for an additional $3. There's been a bunch of free content for the game in the Friends of Jimbo packs, releasing different artwork for the cards across a bunch of different games, including, but not limited to, The Witcher, Cyberpunk, and Enter the Gungeon, which I also love Enter the Gungeon and Cyberpunk. Mm-hmm. And I think the funniest thing to me is that this game has invaded those games, because there's a Jimbo... The Joker Jimbo is now in Cyberpunk. There's a mission for him in Cyberpunk. And there's like little Joker like graffiti marks in that game. And I just think it's cool as shit that as a solo indie developer, you've made this game that has blown up so much that it is now in a like AAA Studios visage. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, we're going to put you in our game. That's pretty cool, I think.
That is really cool. I think like if you know the person that did like the video for Balatro when they introduced the Friends of Jimbo update.
Yes.
That was the guy that plays Clive. You know that,
yes,
right?
It is. Yes, it is. Funny as shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am still... This is my game of the year so far for 2025 because it's the thing I've played the most.
Yeah, I've played it a lot too.
But absolutely adore this game. Yeah, I think I've exhausted everything I have to say about it, but if it's something that you're into like roguelikes and things of that nature and just really awesome indie games, definitely check it out. It has had me on lockdown for the entire year. It actually came out almost a year ago today, February 20th, 2024. And I have been playing it non-fucking stop. So, or don't buy it. Don't ruin your life because...
Yeah, it's something
it's
that will
consumed
just,
me.
It will absolutely consume you. Yeah.
It is a Venom symbiote Green Goblin mask of a game.
Yep.
Where it's like,
It really
coward,
is.
come
It's
back and fight me.
It's
Yeah.
calling to you
Yes.
like the Burger King crown calls to white guys in their 20s.
That's fucking hilarious. Actually. But yeah, so that is my number one game this year is Balatro.
Okay. There we are. That's our top 10 list.
Look at that.
Listeners, if you've been wondering where the scores ended up falling out, actually, interestingly, Brandon and I both had the same scores last year. I had points. Brandon had 8 points, but Nick had nearly a perfect score. He got 5 of the 6 games and their placements
Look
right.
at that.
And yeah, it's an incredible feat. The only thing you messed up was Detective Famicom, Famicom Detective Club. So
yeah, it's the same thing I messed up.
Yeah.
and I feel like that's a fair one to get on there. So
Yeah.
I think Nick for missing stuff from earlier in the year did not realize how much I liked Lorelei and Laser Eyes because I didn't really have a lot of opportunities to talk about it during Game of the Year this year. So I think you definitely had an advantage there.
Yeah, that's true.
But, yeah.
I kept hearing you talk about that one.
At both of those games, I was like, all right, Lorelei, I didn't know much about it. And I was like, I feel like Mike, with you loving, like, what was it? You like Professor Layton a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, like, the Ace Attorney games?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, well, maybe that will be his number 2, because it's kind of in that same wheelhouse, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but evidently I was wrong, but...
Yep.
Yeah, because you got Lorelei, which is basically like, I don't know if you heard the way I described it before, but it's basically, how did I word it? It was like, if The Witness takes place in the Resident Evil mansion and was made by Suda51. That's how I describe this game. Like, it's wild, but it's so freaking clever. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, so that's our game. Anything else you guys want to talk about Game of the Year wise?
I had a few games that I played that I didn't get to talk about because I couldn't like put them in my list, but I really wanted to. So I do have Still Wakes the Deep on here, which is very good. I had Helldivers 2. We've already talked about that. Once Human. But the big game I really wanted to talk about, which recently got announced with a PC version, is Rise of Ronin. Rise of Ronin is a game that I think will end up being like I'm gonna say like 4 years from now, there'll be like a 3-hour YouTube video discussing how much of a hidden gem it is. Rise of the Ronin is a excellent game that looked like absolute dog shit when it came out on PS5, but has since been updated a lot and will look incredible once it hits PC this year. I think this is one of the better Souls-like games that's not made by FromSoft. It's made by the Neo devs, and it's just really enjoyable. Like, I highly recommend it if you like those kind of games. So, yeah, that's one of the ones I wanted to talk about. I had it at like number 9 for the longest time, but at the end I was like, indie titles are way more important.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Not really video game related, but would it be okay if I just really quickly just rattled off some albums I really enjoyed this year?
Sure.
All right. In no particular order. Hyperdrama by Justice, very, very good electronic dance album. They just won a Grammy for Best Electronic Dance Song with, who the fuck is it? Tame Impala. You know this one, dude? The new Bring Me the Horizon album, Post Human Next Gen, also very, very
I need
good.
to listen to that.
It is so good, Brandon.
Okay.
So good. Ginger Root put out, what's the name of their album? I forget what. Shin Bangumi. That came out this year. Really, really awesome, good album.
Okay.
Definitely give that a listen. Remy Wolf put out Big Ideas this past year. That's an awesome album. I feel like a lot of attention this year was like on Sabrina Carpenter, Chappell Roan, Billie Eilish, but I think she kind of fell under the radar a bit in that regard. Definitely check that album out by her.
Okay.
That's very, very good. Timeless by Kate Renata has a lot of good features on it, including Don Toliver, Channel Trace, Charles Gambino's on it, Anderson .Paak, Thundercat, which I love Thundercat. He just kind of pops up places. He's just a groovy little guy. And then more recently that came out was Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator. Very good album.
Wait, he
I
has a
love-
whole album out? I'd only heard his one song.
Yeah, Chromacopia came out this past October.
Okay.
That's very, very good. And then the last one I want to mention is GNX by Kendrick Lamar. Also a very good album that
That's a
came out
good
last
album.
year.
That's a very good album.
That one has a lot of features with SZA, and I absolutely adore SZA. Oh, her album came out last year too, and that was a banger. I completely forgot. Yeah, just some of the music I was listening to last year. Really quickly wanted to mention this because they were really, really good.
Okay,
So,
nice.
yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
All right. Well, last thing I'll throw in there in this episode, unless you guys have some other stuff you want to talk about, just random stuff. But I know, Brandon, you asked me about it before. And it's very topical right now, so I'll talk about Civ 7 super fast.
You think about Civ 7? Yes.
Yeah. So Civ 7 officially came out for everyone today, but I did the early access, so I've been playing it for I don't know, almost a week at this point, and I fucking love this game a lot. So a lot more than I would have expected, and I think definitely like tangentially more than like I did. I remember when Civ 6 came out, I was just whelmed. I was like, I'm like, it's Civ. It's just not as fun and not as deep and not as exciting. And that's how I thought about Civ 6. And obviously, as the expansions came out, they built it into like a very deep and expansive game. So I wasn't really sure what to expect with Civ 7. Like, obviously, you know, you're starting back down at a base level again, so you're going to expect some change in what you get there. But this game is like, there are some issues, but I would say overall, like exquisite. So let me tell you about the big issue, because people have been bitching about it like crazy. It's the UI. There are definitely some UI issues in this game. Like I don't want to, I can't state that enough. There are definitely UI issues in this game. For me, and the way that I play Civ, it's not anything that I couldn't get around just by watching a YouTube video, just so I understood the concepts a little better, so I knew what the game's trying to tell me poorly. Because most of it's just poor wording. That seems to be like a lot of the issues. But there's some graphical UI problems. There's some information that some people like but don't necessarily have. I can understand that. I can respect that. You know, like if it's not giving the options like for, you know, the way that you want to play or the way that you should be able to play, then yeah, that can get frustrating. Kind of, I guess. So another example of a UI problem that is there, and this one's kind of more notable. Like for example, if you're if like one of your units gets attacked but it doesn't get killed, it doesn't necessarily tell you. So you'll find out if you die from a notification that you actually have to go out of your way to click on to find out. Like it's some stuff is just kind of like buried. Like the information's there, it's just not always accessible. So yes, there are some UI issues, but like I said, at least for me and the way that I play, now that I have an understanding of how the game works, not anything that's stopping me from enjoying it. So big thing that they added into this game, you have the 3 different ages, and it seems like they're probably going to add more in DLC.
Okay.
The Antiquity Age, which is the first age, honestly, it's almost a complete experience on its own. Like there's something just incredibly enjoyable just playing that age on its own, and each age has its like own goals and missions, and you can like objectives to go through, and you can complete as many of them as you want during that age, and it gives you advantages going into the next stage, stuff that you can carry over, some bonuses, things like that. They also changed the way that the cities like grow and change now. They got rid of the builders, and it's more of like a tile-based system. And at first I was like, this seems weird. I'm like, where are my builders? Oh no, I don't miss them at all. This new system is so enjoyable. It's kind of like you build out like urban and rural tiles, and as you put things out, you kind of keep spreading out the city further and further. It's very organic and feels very natural, and I found that to be really enjoyable. What else is there to say about this game? There's a lot. Like I could probably, like I said, I'm just trying to touch on like the surface area of this game, because I'll probably end up spending next week talking about it too. But yeah, it just is really enjoyable. I think that it's honestly, I think that this game it's a complete experience as it is right now. Like I don't feel underwhelmed like I did with Civ 6. I found that the matches that I had were really engaging, and surprising. And even just while I was at work today, all I was thinking about was like, well, when I get home, I'm gonna boot up my game because I started I'm like on my third Civ game already. And I'm just like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna try to beat this way. And yeah, it really keeps you coming back to things that they did there. They added new like mastery kind of technologies, and you can learn things like, like research like pottery, but then you can also do like pottery mastery, for example. I don't remember if pottery has a mastery, but a lot of them do. And it gives you like extra things to research, kind of making that skill even more important to your society. And kind of the way that the first age is the antiquity age, so that's kind of like your barbarian age. They got rid of barbarians and they replaced them with kind of what becomes city states, which I thought was a really interesting way to do it. Basically, you have like these encampments, and if you invest like resources in them, they'll actually turn into like a formal city state, and then you can invest more resources into them and kind of absorb them into your civilization if you want to, or you can just kind of leave them there, whatever. But you're kind of building up just kind of the foundation for the world. The next stage is the exploration age. So this is kind of, you think about like how things were in like the age of Columbus. So, there's these new continents overseas, so you're racing to get resources over there, trying to spread religion across the globe. So those kind of things all go into features there. And then the modern age is kind of more your industrial kind of World War age, where you're building up machinery, trying to build a strong economy and trade practice. I'm trying to think what other ones there are. Culture, you're like going through and doing like archaeology and stuff like that. So it has a lot of nice variety and kind of the way it all plays out. So I said there's a lot to say about it. I can probably talk forever about it, but I'm not looking to talk about it forever. I just really want to say that I'm really enjoying this game right now. I'm so much happier with it than I would have expected to be. So that's really positive, and I think it's only going to get better. They actually rolled out their first patch for it last night, which fixed a lot of the issues that people have been having problems with it. Right now, it's only out on PC. And the game actually did have cross-play between PC and console, but they put that on pause right now because the patch is only out on the PC, and they don't know when it's going to be out on consoles because you have to wait for the platform holders to release it. So that should be coming out soon. But yeah, definitely, like I said, I will have more to say about this, but if you're thinking about it and you like Civ, definitely, I'd say probably first thing to do, check out some videos, see if it seems like it's something you're going to like. If you think you're going to like it, definitely worth it. Like I said, some UI issues, I don't find them to be hindering, but if you did a quick search on Reddit, you will see that there's a lot of unhappy people. Also, last thing I will say too, surprisingly, I don't remember if I said this on the podcast, I did end up buying it on the Switch.
Okay.
And it runs really fucking well, which also
Nice.
surprised me.
That is very surprising.
Civ 7 runs better than Civ 6 does, like on
Wow.
the Switch. Yeah. I think part of it's because Civ 6 was outsourced to be ported, whereas for Civ 7, the port was done in-house.
Mm-hmm.
There's one limitation on it. The largest map you can do is small size, which when you say it like that, you're like, oh, why would I want to play on a small map? At least from my understanding, and I didn't deep dive into this, so my information might not be totally correct, but at least to my like eyes, it seems like it is.
Mm-hmm.
So supposedly small size maps are actually the same size as the standard maps in the previous game. So it's still the same map size. It's just the maps are bigger in this game overall. So very similar to Civ 6 in that regard. You only get 6 civs in the small map, but honestly, don't feel like it's lacking. It runs really well. And I was just reading something on Reddit earlier. Someone was like, it keeps freezing on me and crashing all the time on PlayStation 5. Yeah, I've had it crash on me twice, but it's not been when I've been playing the game. It's been during load screens, like as I've been trying to load up a match. So I'm like, who cares? If it plays while the game is running, that's what's really the most important. And I could care less about those two when it crashed during a load time. I probably had not reset the game for hours upon hours upon hours at that point. So I was probably due for it. But yeah, I'm just very happy with it. It runs pretty smoothly. I'm sure it chugs a little bit during the modern era, but a lot of it's kind of hidden between the AI taking its turn, so you don't really notice it.
I see.
Do you guys have any questions on it?
No, I actually wanted to mention a game I played though, if you have
Yeah.
a moment.
Mhm.
So I played Rift of the Necrodancer, which is
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that's right up your alley.
it is. This game
I
is
didn't realize
awesome.
it came out already. To be
Yeah,
honest.
so it came out on February 5th, and I bought it day one, I think. This game's awesome. So let me kind of break down what makes this different from other rhythm games.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a rhythm battle game, like sort of. Instead of notes, you have monsters that come down, and you have to hit them to the beat to go along with the song. But you're defeating the monsters, and if you let them go past and you miss the beat, then you take damage. And that's the way the game essentially works. Every single monster type has a different way you have to play their note. So, for instance, there's like a skeleton with like 2 shields, and that means once they reach the bottom of the note chart, you have to press that key twice back to back, like immediately, because they're blocking twice. So you go bum 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 bum, basically, to actually defeat them, because you have to do the 2 for the shields and then the 1 to actually fight to actually defeat them. And then there's other ones where, like, you'll see the zombies on the downbeat, they do this little hop, and you're able to notice their pattern and how the hop is going. Because if they like jump all the way to the left or all the way to the right, they're going to come in from the other side, similar to like Pac-Man and that sort of deal. When you go out one side, you come out the other. And learning the different note patterns and how everything works in this has been like a blast. It's been really interesting, and just the way that these different enemies work together is very creative and really like mixes up the Guitar Hero formula quite a bit, like a whole lot. And the actual music here obviously is very, very good, because it's again from a lot of the people that worked on Crypt of the Necrodancer, and if you played that game, you know that music was already good. This is also the same people that made Cadence of Hyrule, so you know how good that music was as well. Yeah, this game is fantastic. Very, very early contender, I'd say, for Game of the Year already for 2025. Similar to how, like, Nick was saying, yeah, Bellatra, that's my Game of the Year 2025. Yeah, Rift of the Necrodancer is mine currently.
I mean, Civ 7's definitely making my list. You could take that to the bank right now.
And I sent you a video, Mike, where I showed you some of the elements where it's the mini games, and the mini games are just rhythm heaven.
Yeah, I remember that from the direct when they showed it off.
Yeah,
that was one of the reasons why I was really excited for this game.
So the mini games, which I think there are 5 or 6 of them, which like break up the main game, are Rhythm Heaven inspired, and they're really awesome as well. So very cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. So,
Yep.
Maybe I didn't realize it wasn't out yet because it's not out on the Switch yet. I guess
it just released on PC, so
yeah, it doesn't have a release date on the Switch yet.
I know it'll probably be coming soon.
I'm sure it will. Usually this stuff is not too far behind. Optimize it on PC and then release it everywhere else.
All
right. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's it. It.
All right. Well then, thank you everyone for listening to us tonight, and thank you for sticking with us through all of this Game of the Year fun that we've had the last couple weeks. If you want to check out our old episodes, you can find them on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Our website, Game-Crunch, also has all of our old episodes. And if you want to send us email, you can reach out to us at GameCrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon.
Hello.
Any final thoughts?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Nick?
Go Birds.
Mm-hmm. All right. That's it. My name is Mike Anastasia. You can find me online, Clash of Penguin there, or on your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Game on.
Game on.
In the night, the screens are glowing, voices whisper, stories flowing. Game of the Year, who shall win? Let the guessing games begin. Tensions rise as votes are counting, anticipation all surmounted. Players' dreams on the line, let the reason steep incline. Oh, can you see it? The crown's within your reach. Oh, will you be it? The one they'll talk and preach. arguments, streams of data, evidence, critics' marks, score by score, who will stand and roar. Every click, every tap, the weight of every map, hopes and fears entwined as they watch the time. Whispers fill the air around, who will wear the golden crown? Excitement at its peak, with each game critique. Oh, can you see it? The crown's within your reach. Oh, will you be it? The one they'll talk and preach. Game of the year. The prize is almost here. Game of the year. This moment crystal clear. Behind the scenes, the arguments, streams of data, evidence, critics' marks, score by score, who will stand and roar. Roar. In the night, the screens are glowing, voices whisper, stories flowing. Game of the year, who shall win? Let the guessing games begin. Game of the year. This moment crystal clear. Behind the scenes, the arguments, streams of data, evidence, critics' marks, score by score, who will stand and roar.
Nick, I was just thinking too. I don't remember if we ever talk to you about that Nintendo thing that they did with the cavemen.
What?
was it? That trial that they did for that like weird game thing.
Oh, yeah, that.
I don't know. I just randomly saw something about it the other day. I'm like, I fucking forgot about that thing already.
I
Like that?
completely forgot about it too.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the fuck it was supposed to be.
Okay.
Did I ever tell you guys like what it was?
No, I don't think so. I think we just saw what it was from online.
So, okay, I think I sent you guys pictures of it, right?
You may have. I definitely have seen pictures of it.
So basically, I didn't play a lot of it because I just was like, what's the purpose here?
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand.
You're these little caveman dude, right?
Uh-huh.
And you would spawn into this world, and there would be like enemies that you could fight for. You're collecting resources, and there would be like little dudes you could fight and get their resources. But it seemed like the main objective, because this would get you more and more things, would be to kind of build yourself up, like blocks, kind of. And you had this one main block that when you placed it, it would kind of cast a lit ring over everything. And like that would, the higher that was, it would like collect more of whatever resource it was collecting. And it was just that over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
With like no... Like you would there'd just be like some resource number that the people had to hit per day. So it was just an online resource collecting game, but like there was an aspect of it where you can kind of build your own stuff because people were making like I guess character models for themselves. And like I would see like Elmo was in it, like Miku was in it, and it was just people. It was what the fuck was it? Hold on, let me Google it. Nintendo Online. It was just a weird. It was just weird. It was just a weird thing.
Okay.
Theories that the thing was not actually a game product, but more of a test of performance of like
for sure,
like some sort of online thing.
I do feel like it was more of a test of a server thing, because the game was not local to the Switch.
Yeah. And that
When you
makes
say
sense.
not local, do you mean like it was on a server?
Like you were accessing a streamed game.
Oh, you think it might have something to do with the Switch too?
I definitely do.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, some people thought it might have to do with some sort of like online hub system, and they thought that the game aspect of this trial itself was just made to kind of disguise what they're actually trying to do. Which kind of makes sense at this point. I mean, it's been months. We don't really know anything about it, but maybe it's something we'll find out about at the Switch thing in April. So,
Okay.
Because what I will say there, when you play this game, there was no nothing from any other game was in it. It was just this, and that was it. There was no. It was a very just vanilla. This is a thing that you are doing. You are collecting resources. You are building. You are exploring. But there was no sometimes Nintendo games will be like, oh, here's Samus's helmet or a Mario mushroom. None of that was in there.
yeah, no Easter eggs or anything. Like
Nothing.
Hmm.
So my theory behind it is I feel like it was maybe testing online servers for streaming a MMO style game, or maybe just streaming games in general. It was definitely a server test of some sort, but the game file was relatively small, if I remember correctly. So that was not, all of that game was not self-contained on your Switch locally. It was definitely a game that you were logging into and accessing through a server and then having streamed back to you. And for what it's worth, it ran good.
Okay.
But that was my takeaway from it. What it actually was, we might not ever know.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a weird thing that Nintendo just be like, hey, we're doing this, and all right, cool, thanks, bye.
Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, very random. I don't know. Like I said, I just randomly saw someone posting this wild theory about that thing the other day, and I'm like, oh yeah, we forgot to ask Nick about that.
What was their theory?
What was it? Let me see if I can find it again. I think it was.
Because I'm like, is it a way for them to stream? Because I mean, they already stream games to the Switch that the Switch can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I don't know if it's a way for them to do that. Maybe.
My theory is they're gonna do something similar to Wii Plaza, and that's gonna be for Switch too.
So I don't think we've talked a lot about the Nintendo Switch 2 actually as a group, if I remember correctly. But there is. So one of the rumored things about the Switch 2 is that they're gonna have their own social media app for it, kind of akin to a TikTok or an Instagram Reels, where you can
Weird.
record your own footage and post it to your account.
Okay.
Whether or not they merge a Me Plaza into that, who knows? But there's a button on the Switch 2 gamepad that there's no there's no known function to it, and that's been a rumor flying around, is that it's there's gonna be a social media aspect to this thing, which also kind of goes with the addition of the mouse feature to the Switch Joy-Cons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, because I think that's the button. There's a button right under the home button that's just blank. There's just nothing.
The only counterpoint I've heard to that theory is that they do already have the capture share button, so they're like, why would you not just use that button for that already?
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But I mean, obviously, because I mean, barring any, I mean, obviously there'll be other stuff between now and then, but obviously when the whole Switch 2 things happen, I figured I'll probably hop on and talk to you guys about that when that happens too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I've really seen, and I'm just trying to I'm more focused on the mouse feature, if anything, and trying to figure out what the fuck that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Than I am the social media app. But that's some of the rumor that I've heard, is that there's a social media app or something coming to the Switch too.
Interesting.
I was thinking about it the other day. I actually think that the fact that the Switch 2 has a mouse built in actually might end up being a kind of a big positive overall for the industry, because now all of a sudden you suddenly have a home console that has access to a mouse all the time.
Yeah.
So more incentive for developers to support it, and if they're supporting it on the Switch, they're probably going to pull those features in the other systems, I would expect. So
I do wonder if it's they keep calling it a mouse feature, and I know in the trailer they showed the two Joy-Cons racing each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm I wonder if people aren't understanding what it is correctly. I don't know if it's a mouse feature like that, or if they're just taking what is in the Joy-Con and assuming that's what it is. Because I don't know if it's maybe just adding more to the interaction between you and the hardware for like motion control type stuff, or
So-
like
There was the patent for the Switch Joy-Cons came out officially this week. And I guess there was a lot of, I guess whatever was in there, and I didn't look at it specifically, but I did see that they were like, "Yep, this definitively proves that is a mouse feature."
gotcha.
So, we did know it had like an optical sensor on that like side.
Oh, I see the picture now. They're very much so holding it like a mouse.
Yeah, so it's very much so a. It seems to be that is what they're going for with it. So, be interested to see what they wanted to do with it. There's actually somewhere in NSO there was mouse features hidden. People thought that they were going to re-release maybe the Super Nintendo mouse for the Switch, but now it seems like you missed. But that might mean that we'll get something like Mario Paint or something.
There's also, interestingly enough, there's a dock for the Switch Joy-Cons that it puts both of them on like almost looks like a phone. Like that's the kind of you know what? Wait, I have the power of technology. I could just open this image in a new tab and show you guys. But the way it looks like it's a dock that like enables you to use it more comfortably as a mouse. Let me see here. Here we go. So it's like a play and charge kind of thing. It's interesting.
I like that. No.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, who knows what it could be, truthfully. But we'll know in about 2 months. Less than 2 months.
Not even.
I just want to know how to use it. I just want to know, like, because I'm trying to, like, in my head, I'm like, what the fuck would I even use that for, realistically? But
Civ 7.
I guess, yeah. I mean, Civ 7. I mean, there's a physical edition of Roller Coaster Tycoon coming out. I'll use it for that. Although I will say, like, there are games that, like, I've started playing on, like, Balatro was a game that I started playing with a mouse. And like once they announced a phone version, I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to play this on a phone? And now it's like my favorite way to play it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do we even need a mouse for some of these? Like, I don't know.
I think that they are. I think that there's going to be features for the Switch 2 that we don't expect.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to see a bunch of features that I think one of Nintendo's goals with the Switch 2 is to make this system more compatible with their old software.
Okay.
So I think there's going to be 2 features that they will do. I'm not quite sure how they will do them, but I think that they will have one feature that will allow them to do 2 screens. And it seems like that's been heavily rumored, either between console and phones, kind of like Jackbox, or between the console and the dock, to kind of stream like the Wii U would. So you could have a different image between what's shown on the TV versus what's shown on the Switch unit that way. The other thing that I think they'll do too, and it makes a lot of sense, I think that they will do something with the dock in some way to make Switch style Wii style motion controls more palatable.
Okay.
Like something to help recenter it, like so it knows where its position is better than it does currently. Don't have to keep on doing the reset like over and over to center it. I think that they're going to have some sort of technology for that. Because I think that's another thing that's been kind of limiting some of the ports that they would want to do, like Mario Galaxy 2, for example. So I think those are kind of things that they'll try to incorporate in there. Because once you have a second screen and better options of motion control, then that makes it easier to bring over the rest of the systems they have not yet. So what it would be whatever's left on Wii U, which is like 3 games, and DS and 3DS stuff. So and I think once they can bring those over, that will be something that I think they want to have like an easier way to dump them instead of having to completely remake them from top to bottom every time they want to release it. So yeah. But it'll be interesting. I'm really interested to see what's going to be there. I think it's going to be full of surprises. And I can't figure out where I saw that online playtest theory thing that that person did. They had a whole Reddit for it, and I can't even find it anymore.
Maybe that's why they haven't released Metroid Prime 3 yet, because that's the technology they needed.
It could be. I know Retro was like, one of the people who worked at Retro was like, oh, Nintendo will never be, like, they're basically like, you'd have to restart this game from top to bottom to be able to do this. It won't be possible to switch it to just controllers. And I was like, I'm like, at first I was like, that makes sense, but then I was like, Yeah, but they did it with fucking Skyward Sword. Like that
Yeah.
game was like so much more in like dependent on motion controls than
Yep.
Metroid Prime 3 was. That I'm like, if they can do that with that one, then they can do it with the other one.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Oh, okay. I found the guy's thing. It was the Reddit's called NSO playtest _ theories.
Okay.
And this person keeps he's like posts on his Reddit every day. There
Okay.
are he's got lots to say about it. Yeah, but if I'm not, there's too many posts here. I'm not scrolling through all this. But yeah, the theory that was on there was it was related to some sort of online feature.
Yeah.
Possibly even something like a Clubhouse games. I think I saw was another theory
Okay.
that was there, where it kind of more of a option to like a hub to go in and play other games with other people, kind of more
Mhm.
like simplistic stuff. Also, I
Okay.
mean, there was a thing where it was kind of more like Minecraft-esque thing that they were building too, which also makes sense because that like Roblox and Minecraft are both just like money pits where you can just suck out people's money. So
I don't think Minecraft is. I think they tried that, but like no one really buys the things in Minecraft.
Yeah,
How
but you
many-
know what? They might be
how much
trying to
money has
get.
Minecraft made though?
They might be trying to cut into like some of that live service money with like Lego Fortnite,
Yeah.
or like shit like that, where like they have all these juicy IPs, and if they can make like an online kind of building game with all of those things in it, I mean, I would play it.
Yeah.
And they say that over the last 10 years, whenever this thing was made, oh, sorry, yeah, so this was from December. So it said over the last 10 years, it's estimated that Minecraft has had $3 billion in revenue.
Oh wow. Oh, that's nuts. Because I never like hear anyone using the actual like paid elements of Minecraft other than just buying the game.
I think that's where a lot of it's coming from, just the game and like the DLC stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is, like the DLC is like part of like the live service stuff, and I never see anyone do that. They just use the launcher instead and like mod it, and yeah, weird.
Maybe
Oh.
maybe more so you're thinking the wrong age group.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids are into weird things these days.
Yeah.
Skibbity.
Oh man.